Hey, greetings everyone. As you know, I'm your host of Beyond Business. I wanted to come with a quick word before this highly anticipated episode starts with an apology for the audio quality. Although the volume level, you'll be able to hear it just fine. It was a first go round with the audio interface that I just reviewed recently, but I did not have it recording during Frank and I, but we had other audio sources that were recording, so just bear with me and my apologies. But this is a long episode, but a really great one, and please keep in mind that the views and comments made on any of my podcasts are solely based on the person making the statement. It's not a representation of any of our sponsors or the show itself. And my views are usually pretty clear, and if not, I'm happy to make them clear. I'm just here to get educated, and this is one where I most certainly did. So again, my apologies for the shaky audio, but you'll be just fine, and enjoy this one with Lil Frank.
Welcome back, it's season 3, Beyond Business, come ride with me. Nick Freno in the house, sharing stories that inspire. From every walk of life, we're lighting that fire. Lessons learned, journeys shared, good vibes and laughs, we're fully prepared. Brought to you by Buick Real Estate. Let's dive deep, it's gonna be great. From the ups and downs, we rise and grind. Every guest has a tale, every tale is a find. Exploring the wisdom that life has to give. Together we grow, that's how we live. Lessons learned, journeys shared, good vibes and laughs, we're fully prepared. Brought to you by Buick Real Estate. Let's dive deep, it's gonna be great. So grab a seat, don't miss the ride. Beyond Business with Nick, let's take it in stride. Join the conversation, let's make it last. With stories and insights, we're having a blast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Season 3 of Beyond Business. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible Season 3 sponsor. A huge thank you to Season 3 sponsor View of Commercial Real Estate. The team that Tim has built is a driving force behind Season 3 of the Beyond Business podcast. If you're looking for expert guidance in commercial real estate throughout Central Illinois, Tim Buig and Cole Babcock are the professionals you can trust. Their dedication to helping clients navigate the commercial property landscape is truly unmatched. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or invest, Tim and Cole are committed to providing personalized service and guidance every step of the way. Their passion for helping clients navigate the complexities of commercial real estate sets them apart in the industry. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level or find that perfect commercial space, reach out to View Commercial Real Estate. You can find them on all social media platforms at viewigrealestate.com or give them a call at 217-450-8500. And trust me, you'll be in great hands. I also want to give a shout out to our faithful sponsors of this show and every show of the season so far. Clean Cut Painting and Handyman. If you're in need of reliable painting or handyman services, they're your go-to team for quality work and exceptional service. Whether a whole home makeover or just knocking a few things off your to-do list that you have been putting off, call and get Clean Cut scheduled today and keep the space you spend your time in looking its best. You can find them on all social media platforms by searching Clean Cut Painting and Handyman, or find them online at cleancutservice.com. And our other faithful show sponsor, Oakwood Screen Printing. Whether you're looking for custom apparel or promotional products, they specialize in bringing your ideas to life with top-notch, high-quality custom apparel. Check them out online at oakwoodscreenprinting.com and use promo code BB217 at checkout for 15% off online or in store. Thank you again to Viewwood Commercial Real Estate, Clean Cut Painting and Handyman, and Oakwood Screen Printing for your support of Beyond Business. Now let's jump into today's conversation. Joining me all the way from the Whittington Homestead in Tennessee is a friend of the show and a lifelong friend of mine, known to most of you as Little Frank. Welcome and thanks for joining me, Mr. Frank Whittington.
How many miles are you away? Actual miles?
Like 300.
300 miles. Yeah, I guess that does make sense because it's so you're going to get the temperatures today when you get home that we got
Yesterday.
Yep.
It got up to almost 80 at home yesterday.
Oh, that's like
We're
you're there, babe.
we're reaching summertime,
Hell yeah.
but we could also get a cold snap anytime in the next month.
Yeah.
But our cold snaps last maybe 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Like when you hear the guys down there talk about it, you think the world's ending.
Right.
Like, oh, it's gonna drop below freezing again.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 31, but I guess that is below freezing.
Right.
And from us coming up from up here, where we're used to Arctic wind, like we're out there in t-shirts and
Dude, we had a true or Decatur season in the last 10 days.
oh yeah,
I mean, we went skiffs of snow 3 days in a row. 3 days later, 65 degrees.
yeah. See, I don't miss.
It was
any of
nuts.
that.
Yeah.
I don't miss it at all.
Yeah, it's
when we
crazy.
get snow, it's beautiful,
I bet.
but it doesn't last. Last year I got snowed in because once it does snow, we're up on like you got to drive almost up straight uphill any direction you come up to get to the property. So when the snow falls, there's no snow plows, there's no
Right. You better know how you got here.
preparation. Yeah, you're just there. You're just stuck. So I was up there on the ridge for probably 6 or 7 days. Nicole was working over in Mississippi, so it was just me and the dog. And 24/7, I would just be burning wood, make a couple walks around the property with the dog a couple times a day, and it was the best week of my life.
Really?
Nobody stopping by, no mail running, no traffic, no
Just
nothing.
there.
Well, I say traffic, no cars going by.
Yeah.
There's never traffic.
Right. You get to see some random animal prints
Yeah.
once in a while and say,
Yeah.
huh, what was that?
Getting a little bit better at figuring out what prints or what animals, but
All right, so let's go back. We're gonna start way
do you wanna
before
go?
now. Yeah, there's a lot that I really don't even know. Where'd you go to school at? Wherever you lived, whenever we were in, like, let's say high school. Where'd you go to high school at?
I was homeschooled.
No shit.
Yeah, I was pulled out of Niantic Harestown
Okay.
after the end of my 8th grade year.
And what was the reason behind that? Your mom thought the system sucked, or
No, I sucked
or
as
you
a
sucked.
student. And going into my freshman year, I just kind of got like I had a fun personality. I was a class clown, so I would just get like moved along.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I go into my freshman year with like a 4th grade reading level, no comprehension of
Right.
doing math. And my sister is an academic. She is fantastic at putting together papers and getting her homework done. To me, as soon as I got into a school, I just checked out.
Right.
I had no desire to be there. Nothing about it I just didn't resonate with it.
Yeah.
And looking back, I get it. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But in the homeschool setting, I was able to go to work full
Hold it up
time.
just a little bit.
I was able to go to work full time and do school in the afternoon for 3 hours a day, and was able to graduate somewhere between the end of my being 16 and turning 17.
Really?
So I was out a couple years early. So then I just went straight into the workforce, building houses here in town for Doug Stukins.
Okay.
So
What,
when I
you
was-
were like, it's just time to.
yeah, I was 16 and had a full-time gig slinging hammers, and
How long did you do that?
maybe a year and a half with him. And then I took a short stint working at like Menards.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went and completely changed careers and did machining. So I worked as a machinist.
How old were you before, how long before you got out on your own? Like when,
Started the shop.
No, I meant physically, like moved out of your parents' house.
Oh, at 17.
Oh,
yeah.
As soon as you were out working and out of high school, you were,
Yep.
or I mean, out of whatever, graduated
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah. Because I was already, like, my dad had been charging me and my sister rent since we were like 13.
Right.
As soon as we
As soon
had
as you were
summer
working.
jobs, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We were, it was weird. We were buying our own school clothes from the time we were single digits. Like, you had to go out and mow yards if you wanted new clothes for school.
Right. So looking back at it now, obviously, that's fucking extreme.
Yeah.
But do you get it a little?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
But
that is extreme.
I've also had more of an entrepreneurial mindset my whole life.
Right.
Like, I've never, ever stressed about, will I have enough money? Because I always knew that there was nothing I can't do. I mean, if any other guy can do it, there's no reason I can't.
Right.
So I just applied that principle to everything I did. Like, nobody taught me to do body piercing. Nobody taught me to tattoo. This is just, I picked it up and ran with it. And
Yeah.
got to a point where I was validated and people were like, yeah, he's doing all right.
Right. Okay, so you're on your own and went from building to machining, which that means now that's another trade that you've learned.
Right.
And at what point do you pick up, at least on the side, going, let me grab a chicken breast or an orange peel and a cheap tattoo gun set and start, or a drunk pal and
Right.
try to figure this shit out?
Well,
or draw, or what were you doing? Were you an artist or?
For a couple years, I worked in home health care. And I
Okay.
had a friend of mine who was a quadriplegic, and I just kind of managed his day-to-days, you know what I mean?
Let's help take care of him.
But during that time, I learned and got an understanding of like cross-contamination, sterile field, how medical supplies stay clean, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
putting all of that together, I picked up doing body piercing. People would just be like, hey, could you pierce his belly button?
Oh, before tattooing?
Yeah, long before. A couple
Okay.
years. So I opened up, I was 22, and I was working, at this time I was back to machining again. So I was working at CCI over on 26th
Yeah.
Street, and they did layoffs all the time. And at that point, I was going through my second divorce at
Okay.
22 years old.
Yeah, killing it.
Yeah, just really thriving in life. And I had it in my heart, like, I gotta get out of this working for somebody else, letting them determine how much I can make, and you know what I mean? So
Punch in, punch out.
I requested, I said, hey, I got this thing I want to do, which was piercing. And next time layoffs come up, put me on the list. And for whatever reason, they're like, well, you put out too many parts. We can't, we don't want to lose you. I'm like, well.
Oh, they're like, by the way, we lay off the shitty people.
Yeah. And I said, well, I mean, I gotta follow this thing. And like I said, I felt like internally, like my whole world is falling apart. Like I'm losing,
Yeah.
I'm failing the second time at such a young age, and relationship matters, and I got nothing else to lose at this point. So they do lay me off, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna file for unemployment, but as soon as I make the same amount of money doing piercings as I would make on unemployment, I'm canceling it.
Right.
And I'm just gonna write it out. And I did, and it took like 3 weeks.
Oh.
And then I was back to making money, but I'm setting my own schedule, and I'm doing my own thing, and I'm just renting a little tiny room out of a tanning
Okay.
salon /
Yeah.
hair salon, and it was like an 8x8 room. So it just has
Big enough to sit down with
just-
someone in.
just enough. And I did that for maybe a year before I actually secured my first building, which was downtown on North Street.
It was probably the least stressful spot you ever had.
It was. It was. So yeah, that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was, when I was machining, and this is why I decided that I was going to go to the piercing and be self-employed, was I was having people like schedule appointments to get a piercing done, but then I was, still machining and
Yeah.
trying to balance both, and I'm like, no, I need to choose one of these and fully focus on it.
Yeah.
So
If that means I have to go look for a couple of appointments to make up for that.
Yep,
Do
it
that.
was easy. Like the transition was pretty
Yeah.
easy, and the money started coming in more and more easily. And then, I brought in, like, I expanded and brought in a couple of tattoo artists.
Yeah. So even before you were tattooing, you incorporated tattooing into your
So
shtick.
I would insert myself and be like, hey, I see you're working on a drawing. Do you want me to go ahead and set up for you? So I was teaching myself how to set up their machines so that I could get the experience. And then I did a tattoo on my ex-wife, and it went okay. It wasn't good by any means.
Sure.
I mean, the first 2 or 3 years of tattoos weren't good.
Yeah.
But I got the hang of it and started putting myself out there and doing these conventions and getting out and meeting people from all over the country. And I really think it was personality-wise that carried me for the tattooing until I learned, like, it wasn't until I worked with Jesse Blunt.
Uh-huh.
He came in, he wanted to learn how to tattoo, and all I knew was the mechanics of it. I couldn't draw at all.
Right.
For the first 2 or 3 years, and then he started breaking things down to, like, a tangible way of me understanding, like, language of art.
I was going to say, artist
hue
isn't
and,
necessarily drawing.
Contrast and all the language that goes with it. Well, then it started making sense. I'm like, oh, okay, so I need a light source to get a shadow, and just putting the basic principles together.
Yeah.
Well, then I was more competent.
Yeah. Understood.
Still never claimed to be a tattoo artist. I've always been a tattooer. There are guys that create artwork, and it's phenomenal. And I'm more of like a Xerox. You show me what you want, and I'll put all the pieces together to fit the body the way it should, and do the composition.
Yeah.
But I'm not the creative. I'm not the one that's gonna, like, give me this trippy psychedelic swirly thing with all these different images in it and make something out of that.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work quite like that.
Yeah.
So, but doing, like, portraits and doing, recreations, that came relatively natural. So
Right.
that's how it all started.
That's
I just kind of inserted myself into the industry, and I had a lot of help along the way.
Well, it sounds like you just created the environment to have a business that you had on-the-job training.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. And that is what it is.
is that what it is? So is it similar to, like, my only comparative, because I grew up around beauty salons, is booth rent. It's, you know what I mean? You have a place, you charge artists booth rent, and you know what I mean? Same idea, right?
Right.
So how long is it before at your tattoo shop you're a tattoo artist? Is it years?
Yeah.
Is it years go by before?
2.
Okay.
So I pierced full time, dabbled in tattooing, and then I taught my third ex-wife how to pierce,
Okay.
so that she could focus on that, and I could put all my attention toward
Right.
making tattoos and getting.
Oh yeah, because at this point you're the piercer, so this has to maintain.
Yeah, and I was just kind of dancing back and forth.
Yeah,
between
yeah,
the
yeah,
two, and traveling around way back then, and I was doing a lot of the crazier stuff. We were doing suspensions, hanging people with hooks, and rigging, and things that were more popular back in the early 2000s. It was just kind of over the top.
Right,
I can remember being at conventions.
That wasn't popular. It was just popular for you.
Yeah. I can remember being at conventions, and there was this technique where you would, like, do implants, Teflon implants. And we were doing these in hotel rooms at conventions. Like,
You're talking about, like, the bumps on people's yeah. I've
in
seen
their
it.
arm.
Yeah.
It was a wild
sick,
time.
ill-looking stuff.
I never had any of it done, but I wanted to learn all of it. So.
Yeah.
But when I started tattooing, I just kind of put that to the side and just focused solely on making tattoos until it just became kind of a monster.
Right.
It was overwhelming, the amount of people that wanted to get work done.
Okay.
So we just expanded and added more artists and more people, and that comes with more personalities that you got to deal with. And
so, at what point in your journey from even 17 when you moved out on your own to being a builder, to being a machinist, to being a piercer, to being a tattoo artist, did you start becoming curious enough to have a few beers, smoke a joint, try some cocaine or whatever? What age did you start dabbling? Or
drinking, I didn't ever have a drink until after my son. I was like 19 or so.
Okay.
So, but I was in my early 20s whenever I was drinking. And this is what's funny. We grew up in the Reagan era. Just say no.
Yeah, that's right.
The gateway drug.
They would come and show us what drugs look like at school.
Yeah.
And the little thing you open.
And I really took it to heart. Like I didn't
dare
mess with any of it. I tried to stay pretty clean, and I had this goal in mind that I wanted to be successful. But if like the people that smoked pot, I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because that was the gateway drug.
It's just terrible.
Somewhere along the way, and it was way later in my career, like I was probably 35 and tried cocaine for the first time at a tattoo convention, just trying to mingle with all these guys I admired in the industry and wanted to
You
hang
said
out
at 35?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that lasted until I finally broke free and started deciding to get just dabbling with it. And then it got to a point where it was like,
You liked it?
I liked it a lot. So,
Wow.
and
So yeah, you stayed away from it. It wasn't your life for a long time. Just wasn't even a thing to even be interested in.
drinking was
Right.
not any kind of drug.
Right.
I was pretty drug free.
So you were just focused and driven to be successful, and then
Yep.
yeah, it's hard to like.
And even still, I never smoked weed.
Oh, because it was
Until I was 40.
Yeah.
41.
And I know when you did that, you were like, I needed this shit a long time ago. I was a fucking train wreck.
It really changed a lot of things in my perspective, because you go from being told this one thing your whole life. And even though I steered off course and I got wrapped up in some other nonsense, doing drugs and just wilding out, just not capable of maintaining this character that I had built over all these years, like the little Frank, the character, the man about town, the life of the party.
I like this.
That sucked, and it's hard to.
Do you feel like you knew that was a character when you were building it?
Nope, not at all.
It was you.
It was what I presented that I felt like I got the greatest response from feedback from people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't mean that
when you was alone, so you had to get the fuck out and be that.
It didn't mean that that's who I wanted to be. It's just who I created to kind of offset the gap of who I knew I should be and what I felt like people wanted to see out of me or expected out of me. And that got to be overwhelming. So I was hitting a depressive state, and I had my former business partner and my girlfriend at the time going, man, don't go back on SSRIs. Try something different. Let's just try something natural. Just smoke weed. I'm like, oh, I ain't.
You're like, I might as well pop Xanax, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I'm not a pothead. And I kept the other stuff kind of quiet for a very long time until I couldn't anymore. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't know that I was dabbling in hard drugs.
Right. Isn't that crazy? In your mind, a pothead was like terrible.
Worse than what I was doing. Yeah.
Right.
But that's where I had to start shaking what I call programming. I was programmed to believe that, so I believed it. And then whenever I tried it, man, you talk about the feeling that I had when I realized, like, this actually does work. This actually
medication
gets to the root of the issues that I have. I'm sleeping all night long now. I'm rested when I wake up.
Yeah.
I'm not as stressed. Like, coming to those conclusions and realize, like, the government
maybe they
lied to
want
me.
us to be
Yeah.
paranoid. They want us to have anxiety. They want us to not sleep at night so we can get on this medicine.
But it really changed my whole course of life, like not in just a superficial way, like I smoke a little weed now, but I mean,
It made you understand
really,
you were being lied to too.
yeah, like well, what else am I being lied to about?
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna lie to me about this plant that grows out of dirt,
Right.
what else?
Yeah, because it wasn't just a thing. There was studies. This was a conscious lie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you and I have discussed. You actually educated me a few years ago a little, and I dove into learning more about it, and it's everywhere now. I've even talked about it on the podcast a little bit, but like microdosing psilocybin, which probably in the next calendar year we'll start seeing be more easily accessible throughout more states, because
And that was another thing I gave pushback on, but whenever I tried it, I'm like,
holy cow.
Okay.
And the couple people I've kind of talked to about it, it's one of those, it's like, what, it's enlightened, it's not even explainable, you don't need it, it's not like that, it's just...
Yeah, it's non-addictive, you're not going to miss it if it ain't there, but whenever it's present, you're like, oh.
You don't, you need other things, you don't need other things, or something like that.
And the science behind it, like it breaks down and decalcifies your pineal gland. If your pineal gland is calcified, which comes from fluorinated water and
from shit that
all
we
the
get
stuff
here.
that we consume, all the poisons that are in our food and drinks, like those contribute to all the disease that we carry in the world.
Right.
Like without consuming all that nonsense, there's nothing for the body to repair from. That's all our body is constantly doing, is trying to repair from the bullshit we consume.
Right, and that's science.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, I'm not making it up.
Yeah, it's not...
So by taking, I got to where I was taking microdoses, which is, for me, it was 1 to 2/10 of a gram capsulated, and then just chuck them back.
Yeah.
And I did it every day for almost 2 years. But during that time, my understanding of the world around me and the nature of the world around me completely changed. Like I used to be so stressed about payments and taxes and all these things that we deal with in our daily lives, but none of them makes sense. Like, why are we paying to live on the world, like on this planet? Like, we're the only mammal that has a monetary system, and that was huge for me. It was like a breakthrough, and it mattered less. Like all the stuff that I had accumulated in my life, to express for my ego's sake how good I had done, like all the motorcycles, all the houses, all the classic cars, the old, I had so much, it was unmanageable. So
But that created a whole happiness.
Yeah, allegedly.
Not at all.
But not at all, because every one of those motorcycles needed oil changes. They all needed batteries. They all needed maintenance. They all needed care. And that left me zero time to really express any kind of creativity in life. I was just maintaining this image for the character until I didn't need to anymore. That's where I came up, like we suffer until we realize there's no need to suffer.
Okay, so it goes like this. Obviously, what you're saying right now is looking back at the character, right? I mean, I can't imagine that you were, or maybe the time did come where you sat there and said, "Who the fuck is this guy I'm being?"
Well, I had a whole sticker that just says, "Who the hell is Little Frank?"
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but
you were like, "No, really?"
Yeah, like who? And I had somebody come and interview me for like a little story, and that was the question. Well, who the hell? I mean, and the reality was, I didn't know.
You're like, I can tell you who he is, but it's not me.
Yeah, I had no clue like what my dreams and my goals were. I was just going through these day-to-day, like, I gotta go to work, I gotta get this tattoo done, this person's staring across the room at me.
I'm supposed to get together with these 30 people, I'm supposed to bring this bike on this day.
Yep. It was kind of a silly life. Overall, but the outside looking in, it seemed like the most fun. It seemed like the best life.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah, one step above being a drug dealer. I got cash in my pocket every day.
Yeah.
I'm keeping up on all my taxes.
Getting hugs from the pretty girls everywhere you go.
All the pretty girls want to kiss me on the cheek and get a picture, and great.
Yeah.
but then you go home at night and you're like, ugh,
Yeah.
how do I shake off all this
Yeah.
energy and decompress from all this?
So what leads, so you start, when you're in this life, you start dating your wife now?
Yeah. This
Okay.
is kind of at the tail end of,
I mean, you guys come together and decide it's time to do something.
well, when we got together, we both had our own addictions.
Yeah.
And we kind of rode those out very rocky for a while. But
Yeah.
there was a deep connection between the two of us
Yeah.
that I hadn't really felt before. And I was already kind of like feeling that my time here was kind of closing in on me.
You mean Decatur or the world?
Decatur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it was just an internal thing that I was feeling. It had nothing to do with anybody
No,
else.
you're just like,
But she and I connected, and we went through a party phase for probably the first year we
Yeah.
were together. And it was, from the outside looking in, it looked very toxic. It looked wild.
right.
And it probably was. But,
You're like, it was like that from the inside too.
yeah, I came to a conclusion, and we like had a week prior to a birthday, my birthday, where we were just taking everything under the sun
Uh-huh.
and kind of crashed to a point where I woke up and I was like, look, we have to do something different. Because like I said, I'd been pretty sane all the way up until I was 35, 36 years old.
And then you hit it hard and fast.
And then I was like, man, I never really had that childhood wild out. I went from marriage to marriage, trying to do the right thing, trying to be the committed,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
and take care of business, but not knowing how to do any of it.
Yeah, you're like, I apparently didn't try right or hard or whatever.
I was doing it incorrectly the whole time. I'd never got over my own bullshit before I brought
Other
new people into my life.
Yeah, I feel that.
And it created a lot of unnecessary stress. So, get to where Nicole and I are like, look, I gotta get cleaned up, and if you want to hang out, if you want to keep this thing between you and I going, we're gonna have to do it together, or I'm just gonna have to do it, and we'll have to terminate.
Like, you're like, I need to check out somehow,
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
And she was on board. She's like, let's get right. Let's do this. So I was able to just,
Team up and
yep, we set some major goals. We kind of I started like disconnecting a little bit from all of the people in my life that were my party friends, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, that's all they knew of me, that's all I knew of them, and
which that makes them look at you like you're on bullshit, but really you're going, dude, I'm running
and
down a bad path.
Yeah, and I'm okay with being that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Looking back now, and
Well, some people are capable of living okay. Some of them you can probably look at and go, you're fine. You're okay with doing that.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
yeah,
If you can't be okay with knowing I wasn't okay,
Right.
then
Yeah.
that sucks.
there was a lot of, it is probably just what happens when people start to get into their midlife, you know what I mean? We have realizations, and we can either act on them,
Yeah.
or keep recycling the same shit over and over. And I was ready to act and do something different, like act on these ideas of major changes, shaking up my whole,
Yeah. Growth.
Existence.
Every time you grow, you lose.
yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? Shake weight. That's what you do.
And that's one of the things the more authentic I became, the more true to myself I became, the less people I had
Yeah.
around me. They only liked the character, and the new version didn't resonate with them. And I felt like, okay, well, I'm okay with it.
It's not even a knock. It's like they had a purpose,
Yep.
and that's not them.
Yeah, and I was perfectly fine with it. I realized, like, there's a time and a place for everything, and I'm not asking anybody to change for me, but I have to make these changes, like,
Yeah.
and I'll accept the consequences of losing people, and came to the realization that, if you got a pocket full of change, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And I had a whole life of hundreds of pennies. It was just small value. They had their own trade-off.
So you disconnected while you still lived locally. You kind of started disconnecting.
I did.
Okay.
So, as far as like the tattooing side of it, when 2020 hit, Nicole and I had been clean and sober now for a year and a half.
When COVID hit, like, is that what you mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had just got married.
Okay.
In Florida, we went out on a cruise, and by the time we got back, our phones come back into service. They're
locked down.
Everything's locked down. Like they shut down the NBA. You got to get toilet paper. Be sure you get toilet paper.
Cover your face, right? Yeah.
And we're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what is happening right now. We've been gone for 7 days, and
We
now
didn't even hear about this shit at all, right?
on the cruise ship on our honeymoon, like day one, you go to the buffets and you fill up your own plates, and then you just go eat. Day two, you walk through and they fill your plate. Day three, you don't touch your plate.
No
and they're
shit.
wiping down walls and wiping down doorknobs all through the hallways, and we're like,
Different mandate every morning, huh?
what's going on?
Oh,
here?
you guys were in the middle of it.
And then we get back to port down in Florida, and I'm like, I can see my van. Like, there's so few cars. I can see where I'm parked, and there's nobody moving on the dock.
Yeah.
There's nobody moving luggage. There's nothing happening. And then our phones come up, and I'm like,
shit.
what is going on?
I don't know what this means, but it's in effect.
So when we get back, basically they're telling us that we can't open businesses, and everything's shut down. And I felt some type of way about it. I was pretty irritated, and I'd already started this.
There was a lot of us that were that way.
Yeah, and I don't mean to trigger anybody that's listening to it now. But this is just my personal story. This is how I got where I'm at and why I got as weird as I got. But I presented this idea that I was like, okay, well, I want to push back on this because I pay the rent, or we pay the rent, we pay for insurance, we're paying for all this stuff. We got guys depending on us to get clients in. So let's, it wasn't uncommon for me to be in a newspaper doing a little charity event or something like that.
Yeah, it's always for tats.
Let's flip this and let's get, in the newspaper, and I'll go unlock the door, turn on the open sign, and we'll get
let's get the local media in here.
Getting arrested for trying to open his business. We'll get the community behind us. And nobody was on board.
Oh, because since its partners need to be okay.
And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm on my own here, and I've got to figure this out. So during maybe a few months before all this took place, I had bought the house that was right next door to where we lived. In the bottom of the house was a barber shop that had been there for like 50 years, and they moved out whenever I bought it, and I was like, well, there's my answer right there. Perfect. I'm just going to take clients at my own building, and that way I'm not subjected to anything anybody else is doing. Like, I'm not a registered business, so I'm not under statutory law. I'm not interacting with the public because I don't have an open sign. There's no name on it. It's just me meeting clients, making tattoos.
And it's obviously you're not stealing clients because there was nowhere open.
Right.
So that can't even be an argument.
True. Yeah, and I had a long clientele list.
I was going to say, and they were your...
Yeah, so it went pretty easy, but that is where I really took a turn and started studying the statutory law versus common law.
Okay.
And getting a deeper understanding that there's two sides to this business coin, and most people don't realize that there's a private side and a public side, and it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah,
because I've figured out that you can operate a business without ever having to register anything. You can operate and opt out of the tax system, Title 26 tax system. You can it's just a matter of how you structure your business from the get-go. We only get told about our protection through LLCs and C Corp, S Corp, you know, these different structures. We don't ever hear about how you can operate as a trust, as a sole proprietor, as a ministry.
Right.
And that was a game changer. So you can operate legally or you can operate lawfully.
So this is something you did some homework on, and you said, "Oh no, not only can you do it, but
I'm gonna show you."
Yeah, I think that was it. When you talked to me when we were having this discussion a little bit yesterday, I'm like, "Okay, so this can happen." You're like, "No, that's what it's happening." I do that.
I am the living proof that you can do this
Right.
lawfully.
You have a ministry currently.
We do, yeah. And it's been something that we've been working toward.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't overnight.
A long time. And there's like, you have your nonprofits, and a lot of them are 501, and those are, like we talked about last night, you have any kind of trust. You have a grantor, you have a trustee, you have a beneficiary.
Right.
Businesses are the exact same. So when you file for an LLC, that's grantored by the state that you operate in. So they're
Right.
You, the owner, you're kind of co-working as trustee, beneficiary. In common law, the state has nothing to do with it. The state itself is a corporation. The United States is a corporation. So dead entities can only work with dead entities. Living people can contract.
Oh yeah. This is where you got me, because you did the Pledge of Allegiance, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I gotta rewind this."
Yeah,
It's not being recorded.
This is going to trigger a lot of people.
Why? Because there's people.
Well, because people are going to feel like this is a conspiracy theory. This is conspiratorial.
This is kind of, because I whenever you started telling me about this, I have kind of heard in a rant version this, but you make it make sense.
Yeah. So in law, there is an overlay. There is.
You say in law, you mean like written in law?
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember when they came out and they just like blew up the pipeline and they say, well, everybody lost these jobs. You need to learn to code.
Yes.
Well, I took that literally, not in computer terms, but I started studying the Uniform Commercial Codes, the United States Code, the Federal Code of Regulations.
Okay.
And breaking those all down to like, how can I utilize law to
the
suit
codes.
the codes? Well, then Klaus Schwab comes out and says, you will own nothing and you will be happy. I'm like, well, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. But
Sounds perfect.
if you own nothing, you will be happy. If you turn everything you own, every possession you own, over to God, and you control everything, the state has no access to anything. The government has no access to anything if it's structured from the ground up as a ministry or a trust.
You're just taking care of it.
Just handle it yourself. It requires more accountability. There's no grants, there's no funding.
So somewhere along the lines, it was designed for this. It just, somebody decided that wasn't a really profitable way to market to the public. So
Look at
it
everything
gets
you have
buried,
to
right?
pay a fee for. In constitutional law, when you're operating in common law, and I got a whole binder I drive around with because I have to have it if I get pulled over because I don't use a license plate. I don't use a driver's license.
Oh, you're having them conversations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm showing them. I'm pulling out and showing them.
Have you ever had them?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a court case where I get
Do you have a dash cam and shit?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
man. Yeah.
No, because you can request their body cam, so I don't need to have a dash cam. They're already watching.
Do you try to obey the speed limit and shit?
I do everything exactly by the book.
So you're like, there was
I'm
no
not
reason
trying
to...
to stand out. I'm not trying to cause confrontation, but I will stand on my rights. And
So, I know the cops, when they pull you over and you start in, they're like...
no, I don't.
Oh,
I don't get
fuck.
confrontational at all. I just say, look, I'm going to hand you my passport. This is my identification. And
And what do you say you are? You know what I mean?
They don't ever ask, but basically what it is it's a status correction. You are born.
You're like, here's my passport. What? They said, give me your driver's license. You go, here's my passport.
I said, a driver's license is a commercial entity.
And they already know where you're going with this.
I'm sure they have a sense of it, and most of them, because they only know statutory and code law, like.
But do you have to have an insurance card because it's the law, or is it like, no, I don't have to do it?
I don't have to, but I do, because why give more
Or I still would
insult
like,
to injury?
if you run into me, I still want my shit to get fixed.
Yeah. But there's so many things that we pay for in licensing and maintaining that are completely unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. They are, like, the framework of all statutory law is an overlay of like constitutional law and common law. That's how everything used to operate before we started establishing all this legislation. And there are so many Supreme Court cases that have determined the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it abides by natural law, God's law, common law. So when you operate in that side, in the republic, not as a Republican,
Right.
I don't have the ability to vote for the CEO of the Corporation of the United States.
Right.
I don't
right.
care. None of that matters to me. I'm just focusing on what I create, because in life and in law, you, the individual, the living man, can only control what you create. So I created a property, I created a ministry, I created all these things that control the assets that it owns now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So, we do weddings, and people are like, well, how do I get a license? I'm like, well, you can go to the courthouse, and you can add the state as your third party. Or you can do an ecclesiastic marriage lawfully, where you use the family Bible, you put in the last 2 generations, you add yourself,
Right.
married to, you get 2 witnesses that have watched the ceremony
It's just,
take place.
we're programmed to think that
We're programmed
they
to
need to,
believe that they have to be a part of it.
they
but-
need to fight it out in divorce court later
Exactly. It's a money-making monster,
on. Yeah.
is marriage and divorce. And
Well, so do you think it's, I mean, you have unpopular opinion?
I have a very unpopular opinion.
Okay, is it an opinion? Or do you think, like many things, we're just highly undereducated on
We
the
are.
Constitution?
Yeah, completely. Because there's Supreme Court cases that state that no state shall take a right, convert it to a privilege, and add a tax and a fee for it. But they do. And
Yeah.
the reason is due to presumption and assumption. They presume you already know that that's a fact. So your contract, everything is based on contract law. So you are contracting in, and once you contract in, you have to adhere to all the terms and conditions, which is legislation, codes, statutes. That puts you under their jurisdiction.
Right.
So when I go and get pulled over, it's not, I have to express to them, and I can't do it on the side of the road. You have to be able to litigate this in court on your own. But you have to express that you're not under the jurisdiction of the codes and statutes. Because you know your rights, but you have to know your rights well enough.
Oh, okay.
Like, everything boils down to language and the terms used. So when let's say you have a gun charge,
Yeah.
who's in charge of gun charges? Like, what organization? It's the ATF,
Oh, yeah.
but it's firearms. Constitution gives you legal or lawful right to bear arms. Firearms and arms are 2 totally different definitions. So when you ask permission to your state and your government, can I have a gun, please? And they say, well, you need to pay to get a card, and you got to have this, and you need to register that. You're now offering contract to the jurisdiction. So they have jurisdiction over what you have. Making sense?
Yeah.
So if you don't know the language, there's a difference between firearms and arms. You don't fall
I
under
need to say
2A.
it, but they don't give a shit, dude. They'll be like, you're coming to
They
jail.
will, yeah. That's why I say, and here's the other thing. If you contract a bar card holding attorney, a lawyer,
You just fucked up. You broke
you
the
fucked
rules.
up because
Yeah.
now you have told the court by law and definition that you are incapable of defending yourself and you are a minor.
Oh, I'm a part of your system.
Yeah. And they are beholden to the courts.
Oh, so if you're
and
going
the
to do it,
state
you have to know
before
what
you.
you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's kind of, it's interesting.
it's different. It's not the easiest path by any means, but
I guess, it's almost like it seems like if you, in your case, once you get educated, if you don't do it, then you're just sitting there going, I'm an idiot if I just keep getting screwed. Mm-hmm. Right?
that's where I felt like I had to take action and live out this path. Now, it may come back to bite me in the ass.
The amount of money that or the things that I have that generate that I don't get to have, they get paid out, whether it be fuel tax or income tax or shipping tax or freight charge tax or everything. I mean, you're talking 35, 40%.
If you break down the numbers,
It's insane,
last
dude.
study that I'd taken a look at in taxing is that the average American will, because of all those particular taxes, your retail tax, all your, just every single all the licensing fees are taxes. You pay out, you work 6 months of a year free,
Yes.
and you only keep 6 months worth of taxable income.
Yes.
So when you cut out the IRS
You don't
right
have
off the
money.
bat, you're still paying your gas tax, and you're still paying your retail tax, and you're still paying all these little things, but you can now invest 30% into yourself by cutting out the IRS. And it's an open door policy. You can go, so Title 26, USC Title 26 is the tax codes. So you go down to subsection 7806B, and it'll show you that it's not ratified into law. It's never been activated as a law. But when you get your first job and they sign you up for a W-2, you are now in contract.
Oh, because
Hey, everybody, we got to interrupt the episode for a minute because we have to talk to you about the Season 3 sponsor, Viewig Commercial Real Estate. If you're in the market for commercial real estate, reach out to your boy Cole Babcock at Viewig Commercial Real Estate for all your commercial real estate needs, whether you are buying, selling, leasing, investing, upgrading, downgrading, you have questions, whatever it is. If it's about your business, about growing, about downsizing, if it's about commercial real estate, reach out to Viewig Commercial Real Estate, and they got you covered. You can find them on all social media platforms. You can also find them on viewigrealestate.com or hit them up on the phone, 217-450-8500. If you are in need to get that house in order, from small projects to big projects, whether it's just things to get off your to-do list or things that you're just not really capable of doing that you told your wife maybe you could do but you can't, or you have major projects that you're looking to dump some money into, take advantage of Clean Cut Painting and Handyman, some of the offers they have going on for March and April. They have some major discounts going on for interior and exterior painting projects. Hit them up online at cleancutservice.com or look them up on all social media platforms. Clean Cut Painting and Handyman. They're your go-to for all your home improvement and home repair needs in Decatur and Springfield area. You'll be glad you reached out to them. Good people, hard workers, good work. Women's Citric Company. There you go. Lastly, Oakwood Screen Printing. Michelle has built a team down there. They do top-notch work. Now they are competing with anyone, anywhere by offering 15% off all orders ordered from anywhere. Go to oakwoodscreenprinting.com. Customize your order for your apparel with your design, your quantity, your quality, and she will ship it to you. Use promo code BB217 at checkout, and you will get an additional 15% off. There you go. Oakwood Screen Printing, custom apparel company. Don't snooze on this one. All right. Thank you to all the sponsors. Now let's get back to the show.
With the IRS because you signed up to be a participant in the system. Like, you're in the program now.
Yeah.
So you have to, when you decide you want to exit it, you have to fill out an affidavit that says, look, my name is this, and I recognize that this person, this name assigned to me at birth is not me. I'm a living person. This person assigned at birth is a corporate entity. That's why it's all in capital letters. That's your corporate self. It's called ens legis. Some people call it straw man. So when you separate yourself, where you utilize it as the business and you operate as the living man, then you're juggling two jurisdictions, not just one statutory. That makes sense?
I'm getting you.
Kind of.
So
you have to send an affidavit into the IRS with the form I used was called 56. It's the revocation of election. You elected to sign up for taxes.
Okay.
And you can revoke those rights with the Form 56, revocation of election, which is changing the fiduciary obligation of the taxpayer. The taxpayer is the ens legis. That's the corporate entity assigned to you by the registrar at birth. That's your certified birth certificate.
Yeah.
So in my big binder full of nonsense, I have my certificate of live birth. Totally different document. Same place.
Okay.
It's found at the courthouse, $26 to buy one, and it shows that your name is capital, lowercase, not all capital.
Oh, you got the one with the feet print on it.
No.
Oh.
No.
Certificate of live birth and birth certificate are different.
Yeah. The one with the feet print is your certified.
Yeah.
That's the one that they stamp your soul.
Yes.
On it.
Yeah.
So when you contract out, you have to send them the affidavit. This is why I'm doing this. This is who I am. Send them the Form 56, changing the fiduciary obligation of the taxpayer. And it's an open door policy.
It's not a conversation. This is you letting them know what you're doing.
Yeah. You're not asking permission. You're just telling them,
this is what it is.
Them that this is how it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna know a little bit more about this next time we talk. Oh man, I'm not the right person to do this.
Nobody knows about this. It's so far removed from our
Well, if you're watching, before you start hating on this shit, dig in a little bit.
Yeah,
man.
just go and look.
Yeah, if you have been paying attention to our politics for the last couple of years, I would think you should know that we're open for ideas around this.
Well, that's the thing is I see,
right?
I get online and I see so many people fighting back and forth, but nobody really knows what they're fighting over.
No.
Like I was fighting to get out of playing this character that I was in, but I didn't even know what the character was. How did it even get there? How did I get this overlay of a person that I wasn't?
Yeah.
Well, that's the metaphoric version of what I'm doing in reality.
Right.
Is removing the overlay of the fiat system.
Okay. So I feel like we could just talk about that shit forever.
Yeah, we can.
So you say you get your mindset, and at least you guys have a plan, right?
Yeah.
You guys sober up. You're still in Decatur. You kind of remove yourselves, and you're tatting.
Mm-hmm.
She's a nurse, so she's traveling. You guys are saving up some cash, paying off some debt, and you have a plan to get the fuck out of Decatur.
Right. So we utilize her travel nursing ability, and we load up in an old Tyca van that I built out as a camper van.
Okay.
And we
you
hit the road. Yeah, we lived out of the van off and on for about a year and a half. We would go.
Was it hooked up? Cool.
Oh, it was great.
Hell
I loved it. I miss it. I wish I still had it, but
Is it the van you have at your spot as a
No.
potential photo?
No.
Oh no, you got rid of it.
I got a whole story behind that.
Okay.
But we just tried different states. Like we went up to Wisconsin, we tried it out. We went out to Colorado.
And she could look ahead and see where they were hired.
She
and
scheduled
could
these
go-
like 8 to 13 week contracts, so it gave us a little time to kind of feel out the area. And so we traveled spot to spot to spot, coming back as we needed to. Here, we still had 2 or 3 houses here that they were all in the
And you
same
would
block.
camp at like campgrounds and shit, or just
And we would roll over
anywhere?
anywhere, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But like the night before she would go into a shift, we would grab a hotel,
Yeah.
do laundry, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was just like tattooing hotel staff. Like, come on down if you want a little something done after your shift or whatever, and making cash that way. Just to keep fuel going. And
You're like, hey, I'm gonna go get a soda and some ice with my shirt off. And someone's gonna say,
Yeah.
hey, there were some nice tats, man. And you're gonna be like, I do tattoos. Oh, really? Yeah.
it was really that easy.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I can imagine. Yeah, that's like, yeah.
So that's what kind of put us on the path to relocating. And we didn't know where we were going to be. We originally thought Florida.
Oh, so as you were bouncing around, you were going, let's scope this out.
Exactly.
I don't know about the climate. I don't know.
Exactly. That's 100% what we did.
So how close did she have a contract to where you guys ended up moving?
Interesting enough, we didn't have a contract in Tennessee at all.
Oh.
We had decided, like, we paid off all this debt.
So now you're traveling, making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we just took a month off.
Okay.
And we're like, let's go down to Chattanooga and see how we feel about it, see if that's the area that we want to live in.
Yeah.
So we get down there, and we're there about a week. I wasn't vibing with it.
So I don't want to cut you off, but what do you do as two people who your version of fun was not sobriety for a lot of years?
Right.
And now you guys are your own friends because you're around strangers or around no one.
Mm-hmm.
What's fun?
Well, everything in life is fun.
At that point in time, is that it? Is it was like we enjoyed each other and nature and strangers, or I just meant in your mind you look back.
She
What was
kind of
fun?
introduced me to nature because I was so far removed from anything outdoors.
Yeah.
I'm not an outdoorsman. I wasn't raised that way. So learning it to me was fun.
Everything was new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her teaching me, I think, for her was fun.
Okay.
So everything about life became fun. Everything was play. Everything, even work.
You're like, who would have thought I could be 40 exploring new shit every day?
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
enjoying it and really soaking it in and taking time to enjoy it.
That's great.
So it
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
going sober mind and loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in all honesty, like when I wasn't sober, the guilt and shame of waking up and having to go into work and face everybody, there was no fun to that. It wasn't fun.
Right.
It was coping.
Yeah.
So when you rise above the coping mechanism and just start being present in life and enjoying every moment because it's a gift. You're still here. That is your presence is the present.
Yeah. Yeah.
And becoming present in my own life it felt fresh.
Right.
Like trying to, like, being a kid again, like learning, what do I enjoy? I mean, I know all the things my friends told me I enjoy, but do I really enjoy those things? Or am I just, again, playing a fucking character, playing along so that they like me? I want to be liked.
So you got a chick, or your wife at this point now, and she's kind of just going, hey, I'm down to find you too, bro.
Yeah, well,
Let's find us.
yeah, and she was also,
She likes outdoors. You're like, I
she
guess
wasn't like ever needy or clingy. So when I was having a rough time breaking free of these emotions that I'd carried with me so long, she would just be like, do you need more of me or less of me right now? What do you need? Well, I need some space. All right, well, I'm going to go out and play in the woods for a while. I'll see you later. And give
it's
me
perfect.
the time to just like sit with
right.
these emotions that I didn't know how to overcome
You're right.
until I did.
Right.
You know, and I never allowed myself the time because I was a busybody. I was out moving and shaking prior.
Because as dudes, we think that you bury that shit, it'll go away.
Yeah.
It'll go away, don't.
It
Yeah.
doesn't. No. So I had to really face myself for the first time. I had to be alone. She would go on these 12-hour shifts, and it's just me.
I thought about that when you mentioned that before. I thought about that, like, was that easy, or was that?
No, like
Eventually, it was probably very refreshing.
Making myself stay inside of wherever we were staying. There was a place, we lived up in Appleton, Wisconsin. That's when it's one of the first travel gigs we did where we were there for an extended time. And I didn't know anybody. I'm not necessarily adventurous. So I didn't leave the house. I just
Was there.
hung out, but I utilized that time like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do like mindful breath work. I'm going to learn how to meditate. I'm going to learn how to get more active and fit. Like, what else do I have to do?
Right. Might stretch a little bit.
Just created my own cell, so to speak. You know what I mean? I had my dog, we'd walk, but I wasn't interacting with any of the neighbors. As the new guy, we weren't going to be there long. It just gave me the opportunity to, like, I had to face myself. I had to
create a routine and deal with you.
Deal with me. That was
okay. So that's what I thought when you said how great it was when you got snowed in for a day and it was just you and the dog. How awesome it was! I was like, I wonder how great that would have been a few years ago, or if
I wouldn't have even like. I would have been locked in front of a TV, just absorbing whatever's on there. But we don't have a TV, and we live in a house the size of this room. I mean, we got 300 square feet.
Right.
So it makes me go outside and enjoy something natural in life rather than all of these fake overlays, the fiat life.
Right. So you think it's just personal? It's just and you can keep it real. Do you look at shit and go, why do you have all this? Or it's like, it's just each their own.
No, I already know why people have it all. I've been through it. I get it. So I have no judgment.
Yeah.
The way
it's
people
like
live.
If you need all that fucking space, then by all means, hopefully you use it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yep. But for me, I like what we're doing. I'm happier than I've ever been just by reducing the amount of interaction I have with stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And what I do interact is I'm building and creating, and I'm trying to, I'm creating infrastructure on this land that's been untapped.
It's the new little Frank, bro.
Yeah, it's
the new character.
It's.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that's who you are, really. Is the guy who.
Well, I feel like I've kind of got out of the character mode and into creator mode. Now I'm creating the game.
But it's crazy because the first trade you learn was a builder.
Yeah.
A machinist.
It all came back. It all worked out in my favor to be able to.
You're like, I know how to do everything.
Yeah.
And you had a buddy come help wire some shit. You're like, I know how to do that now.
Yep.
I mean,
it was awesome.
That's just so cool. So the goal is to have what? Be able to. Like bed and breakfast style, what?
Yeah.
5 couples, 3 couples,
I would
10
like
couples,
to get where we can accommodate like 12 people at a time. Be able to do
couple style, 6 couples like that, or
however they roll in.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to host a workshop on industry you do.
Oh yeah.
You can say, look, we're gonna have this workshop down in Tennessee. There's accommodations available. It costs this much for the cabin, and then my workshop is this amount. And
then you guys, and I said, hey, Frank, here's what's going on. And then you go, okay, do you want us to do breakfast and dinner?
Right. Yeah.
And then would you do
that? Add it onto a package. Yeah. So we're building our pole barn out to be kind of a community center.
Yeah.
1,200 square feet. It's just going to have a single bathroom and a full kitchen.
Yeah. So if it's like we need breakfast in the morning, coffee, and dinner at night,
you're a meet-up spot that's a little more open, a little bigger. It'll be temperature controlled, which none of the buildings on the property are. We do everything very minimalistically.
Yeah.
nothing maintains any kind of.
But really, what do you need temperature? I mean, what, a big ass ceiling fan maybe in a bonfire pit somewhere? Or are you going to actually have heat and air?
I'm going to do just an electric heat system.
Yeah.
Like our house, we use a wood burning stove, so I may put one of those in there on as well. And then a big ass fan.
Yeah.
To just circulate some air.
Right. Yeah.
Very, very, very simple.
Right.
But that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to host weddings. I'd like to be able to educate people who are interested in exploring a different
life
path. Maybe you aren't happy with the way you're living life, but you also can't figure out, what is it about this that feels wrong to me? What is it about the way we're doing life that seems so effed up?
Right.
And these are the things that got me out of all those funks. I don't deal with depression. I don't deal with anxiety. I don't deal with any of these, the mental health issues that I always carried with me my whole life. None of it resonates with me at this point. Like, I feel very calm in the way that I'm doing things. It makes sense to me, but it took a long time. Like, it took 4 straight years of just reading text, reading language and law, and redefining words that I thought I knew the definitions of. It really is like, knowledge does set you free.
Yeah.
The truth sets you free.
Yeah.
And I would like to show that to people in a more tangible way, where you can come out and go, oh,
this is for real.
This is a real thing that you have accomplished by not participating in these systems. Like, you invested all that money back into yourself. Yes. Yes, we did.
Right.
We took that 30% back from the government and applied it, and we don't take any loans out. We just do everything cash and carry.
Right. And I think that's it. A lot of people spend a lot of resources trying to figure out how to beat and how to cheat.
Right. Everybody's looking for loopholes. Nobody's just looking for the other door.
Yeah.
There's a whole door you could just walk
I hate to say it, but I mean, you have to have a really, really good accountant in order to succeed. I mean, small business is designed to fail.
Right. Unless you have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Then you have a bunch more stress.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Then you have to have 3 accountants. And then you have, it's.
So the way that our ministry is set up is it's the blanket umbrella. If you picture it being an LLC, we have projects under it. So, like, you come out to the property and you sign a membership agreement, and it basically shows that you are going from public person to private person. And that's essentially all that it is. You're taking that step into the private side. So anything that happens on that property is outside jurisdiction of statutory law.
Okay.
Everything is lawful, but nothing is under the term legal.
Okay.
Two separate worlds.
So where you're at, you have neighbors and stuff?
We do.
Do you have these discussions with them at all? Do you know where they stand? Or you got any like MAGA signs laying or hanging in your neighbors' yards? Or
There's a lot of
some go one way or the other.
And I have some neighbors who like, a lot of them are former police.
Okay.
Some of them are from up here in Illinois. One of my neighbors.
Or it's not one of them things where you push it or don't put. You're like,
I don't. If they ask me, I'm happy to tell them, but I'm not trying to convince people that my way is better than their way.
Yeah, and I guess how often does someone come up and go, so where do you stand on the?
Right. I don't mind talking politics. To me, in my mind's eye, it's all part of the show.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people put all of their faith and hope and dreams in the fact that their guy gets in.
Yeah.
And we keep the other guy out, or vice versa.
Well, so I think, and this is another subject, which the touchy subjects that everyone wants to keep out of their businesses is, of course, politics and religion, because they're the 2 most important fucking topics ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're what define you as a person.
Right.
Or at least what you're about. So I don't know who your God is, but that has to exist for your path to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So tell me, was it a God moment? I always say that sobriety has to start with God came on your birthday and was like, hey, bro, what the fuck do you want to really do here? Because
so when I do a lot of reading and different, like I'll read the Bible, I'll read, things out of the Quran, I'll read from all different religions, but there again, in the same fashion that our government has an overlay, so do religions.
I don't disagree.
And I know that because as I was trying to figure out what type of ministry I want to establish, there are churches that are set up that are not separate from the state. They're granted by the state. Mm-hmm. And they get funded by the bigger churches, and that's how they maintain their existence. So they're usually 501s.
They're ministries.
Where mine is a 508 C1A. So it's a totally, there's nobody that can tell me what I have to preach, teach, or do. And there's no filings, there's no
right
record keeping for, finances or anything like that I have to present to anybody.
Right.
But with a 501, you always have to file, you always have to present.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's when I was like, oh, so it really is different kind of, like these are other constructs that also create more division, just like politics.
Absolutely no separation of church and state.
There's that thing. No. And that's why a lot of them, like when you see something happening politically, certain churches will fall in line.
Yep.
And I don't take issue with it, to each their own.
Yeah.
But for me, I realized in my own life, like, okay, I utilized nature to overcome all of these issues that I was dealing with, that I created because of the unnatural substances I was consuming.
Sure.
So combating that with plant medicine and combating that with looking more at getting away from processed foods and all the chemicals in the foods and
all the way man has jacked up nature.
Well, that gave me more of a sense of like, oh, like everything that has moisture in it is conscious. Our trees are conscious, our grass is conscious, our weeds are conscious. We're all part of this ecosystem.
Okay.
But we've removed ourselves from the ecosystem with our ego system. And that's when I stopped trying to do so much to feed my ego. And I'm like, well, what's opposite of ego? Well, that must be soul. That must be spirit. And if everything out here is part of that collective spirit, that must be God. That's what God is. It's, and then I started reading more in like the Gospels and the Bible, and the kingdom of heaven is within us. It's not external of us, but religion will have you believe that you need to pray to this deity, or you need to, look outside of yourself. When you die, you're going to go to a place outside of yourself.
Right, you're working to get to a certain place.
And it's all fear-based.
Right.
But in the Bible, one of the most commonly used verses is be not afraid or fear not.
Right.
So that's when I started being like, well, it's all these fake systems that keep me afraid. I'm afraid of going to jail. I'm afraid of,
the old school church was, hey, God will strike you
fire
down.
And brimstone.
Yeah.
But I got to doing more and more meditating, and I was like, man, all those years when I was just so depressed and so distraught, so unhealed internally from different traumas that we acquire over our lifetimes, like that is a living hell. That is hell.
Right.
So when you rise up above that and you look at life from a different point of view, you step out of being played by the system, you
Yeah.
enter into the player mode,
Right.
where you're actually activating and making decisions based on an outcome you want. Then you can rise up above that and become the creator. Well, isn't that what God did?
Right.
If the kingdom of heaven is in us, and the only way to get to heaven is through Christ, and you realize, well, Christ was a man, but he embodied all of the abilities that every human has, then you can tap into the God within. Not that you're gonna go and create a universe, but you can create your own
Yeah.
micro version
Yeah.
that will expand out into the macro, and now we're expanding
Yeah.
consciousness. I don't believe that.
Everyone, stop selling yourself so short. And,
Step into your big boy shoes and
Yeah.
start creating the path that you want. Stop letting other paths distract you, while the outside noise dictate to you how things are going to be and how life should look.
Yeah. Praying for something to change tomorrow, and it's just do it. It will change.
Just be that change that you. It sounds so.
No,
silly.
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
be the change that you want to see.
Yeah, no.
And you'll see the change.
And it is. I mean, again, it's not easy to say. It is easy for you to say because you now have proved that it works.
Well, and I've got
not easy.
I've been on both sides of it.
And I don't mean it's easy to say. I just mean you are successful at.
I'm very confident in what I say because I do live it every day. That's the difference. I'm not trying to present something that I think could happen or should be able to happen. This is
You didn't listen to an audiobook on the way here.
No. These are steps that were very difficult, very challenging to take because it went so far against everything I knew to be true. I was very successful doing things under statutory law. I was very successful that way. I was able to buy all the things and feed all the ego I needed to.
Yeah. But dude, you should share your version of happiness as fuck. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it wasn't true success. It was just, it was
monetary, dude.
Yeah, it was just some money here and there. But what's money? If you got the whole world, who cares about money?
Right. You're like, I got two houses right next to each other, too much traffic, too much bullshit,
Yep. Yep.
Dude.
It's all been, it's been a learning experience. I'm grateful to have been through, you know what I mean? I think, I feel like my whole life vibrates at a different frequency than it used to.
Yeah.
I can see things a little bit more for what they truly are and not get emotionally attached. It doesn't affect me if I don't become attached to it.
Right.
I like having people that I can connect with, like we talked about, last night. There's a way that you can connect with people, and then we may not see each other for a year.
Right.
And nothing's going to change.
Right.
Because we left a good connection.
Yeah.
It's when we get attached to people, places, and things that once they get removed from our life, we suffer. We're miserable.
Sure.
We don't know how to cope. We don't know how to re-assimilate this new thing. But it becomes easier and easier just to make connections, focus on connections, put less attention into attachments.
Yes.
Of all the stuff that we've acquired. Like, it was hard for me to go, well, I'm going to go from having 9 motorcycles and 7 cars and 3 houses to one tiny house of 320 square feet and 1 truck, and I'm going to keep a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That I never ride.
Well, I was just going to ask is, if you walk outside one day and it's really nice out, you want to be able to, if I want to jump on a motorcycle, I can, and then, so I never want to. Well, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there again, I really enjoyed building motorcycles. I've probably been published more for bikes that I built in little magazines than tattoos I've done. But I made my whole career out of making tattoos.
Right.
And I did a lot of writing in my 20s and 30s. always drinking events and
Yeah.
running across country, and
Hell yeah.
it doesn't do it for me right now. Like right now, I'm so hyper focused on creating. I want to create this property. I want
Oh, that is such a cool place.
built out. I want to make it to where people are comfortable when they come out. I want to show them something to inspire whatever it is laying dormant within themselves to tap into.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I want to set an example worth imitating.
Yeah.
Because, you've got kids, I've got kids, and they don't listen to us.
No.
And they only imitate what we do
Right.
to a T. So when you realize that and you can start setting an example worth imitating.
The thing is it almost, and I'm not certain on this, but I think for some it almost takes maybe a stage of life is now go get the nice car and the condo and all that, and then when you're done and you want to start life,
Yeah.
simplify. You know what I mean? To where it is almost like go see real quick that $300 4 days a week in a bar is not that fun, even though you can afford it and it's cool and everyone loves you.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know. I feel like some people have that goal of the nice stuff, and then get it and see that it's not great, and then go, okay, less is more. It's funny because whenever I started camp, I never was an outdoor guy. Got a good deal on that camper, redid it, and I remember when Jenna and I pulled it somewhere. We camped for like 5 nights, and I had sent Darren Hill a selfie of us out there, and he was like, "Dude, that's a sweet setup." He's like, "How crazy is it? We spent all them years and time and money to be the fucking highlight of every event, and the most fun is being in the middle of nowhere by yourself." And I go, "I'm telling you, bro." And it was like, you nailed it.
And it was, I don't think we intended, when we were out looking for a property, I don't think we intended to go tiny. We were so comfortable living out of that 50 square foot van with that closeness that we're like, why do we need to heat 1,200 square feet? Why do we need to cool down all that wasted space? Why do we need to expel all that?
So it's like, let's take on a challenge, or you're like,
yeah, I think it was
okay,
to an extent. And it just, like I said, when we found that property, it just checked all the boxes. And I'm like, I think we can work with this. This could happen quick.
So where you live, is it one room? Or is it divided into rooms?
No, it's one room. Like it's a.
Oh yeah, you said you have
I have a bathroom.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a 5x8 bathroom.
You walk. Separate door. You walk in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got a little barn door slide. Shower.
Yeah.
We ordered. Nicole wanted to get a little bit bougie on the bathroom, so we did a clawfoot tub in it.
Oh yeah.
And it's all miniature sized. Like it's a 4.5 foot tub.
Yeah.
So and then we did like the little ring shower.
Oh yeah, you said that she likes to take her a bath.
Yeah,
so,
So I made her get a hot tub until we reroute the.
Oh, I heard on the podcast. She's like something about some chickens better not fuck her hot tub up.
Yeah.
They'll be coming over here by the
set an inflatable hot tub, and the chickens will come over and explore it.
Man, I've thought about one of the inflatable hot tubs before. I'm like, wait, those are actually decent?
They're actually fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're not that expensive.
No.
So that's what I was like, man, I wonder if they hold up.
They're kind of disposable.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But, you're out, $600 or $700.
That's way better than $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And
the amount of
you
usage.
can drain it, move it around pretty easy.
Yeah. Move it away from the chickens, Nicole.
Yeah.
What the hell?
The plan, I know you haven't been to the property, but like from our house down to the tattoo shop is about 500 feet, down the road. And our plan is to set this hot tub down there under its own little canopy, have it more secluded so guests can utilize it.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah. It would still be cool.
Simple.
Well, it sounds like you guys are on to something. I definitely want to come check that place out, dude.
Well, I'd love to have you come down and give me some overhead shots.
Hell yeah.
See what it's
so
like.
what's really neat is, and I don't know how far along, because you guys still don't have a legit website up and running, right?
No, we never have.
You definitely need to get on that.
I know. Nicole's been plugging away at it.
Okay.
She's obviously way more tech savvy than I am.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to even come up with a front page. Like, how do we describe what we're doing out here in a short paragraph?
Right.
How do we lay out what it is our vision is? It's easy to talk about.
Right.
But
But you're like, yeah, it's not people, we can't talk about it. You have to show them something real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
And I mean, we have to get this shower house built. We've got to get,
There's
so we
a couple things that need to.
haven't really tried to get to where we have an overflow of people yet. We like this little trickle that we're getting where we have just.
How close are you to wanting to feel like you get a steady? But I mean,
I would say within the next 3 or 4 months,
Okay.
give me enough time to get the shower house toilets and septics put in, and I'll be
ready,
more comfortable with it. I mean, worst case scenario, we can throw cots up in the pole barn at that stage of it if we had larger groups. We also have primitive campsites that we've been cutting out.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of deck those out too with a permanent, grill, and I want to level with rock and make it as comfortable as I can.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah.
we just have a lot of little irons in the fire. Some are more important than others, but it all requires the money to get it done.
Right. Oh yeah, I guess that's the thing too. You can go, hey, bring a tent and tent camp if you have the spots.
Yeah, and we have like 5 or 6 little areas that we've cut all the trees out, and we rake them clean and stuff like that. But they're out in the.
Dude, I tell you what, when I went, I had a contract to go do a bunch of telecom towers for T-Mobile, right? When they bought Sprint a couple years ago, and I was traveling up north and then west through Iowa and then Nebraska over to Colorado, northern part of Colorado. And it would be like I would go, and then when my weekend, every other weekend, I'd see my son. So when that, like Friday would come or Thursday would come, I'd start heading back home. Cause I'd be fucking 11 hours away from home. Come back, see him. That Sunday night, I'd drive back. And every night, I would stay at a different place. You know what I mean? Well, I just got sick of fucking staying at hotels, right? So on like one of my trips back, I decide I'm gonna go. I have a map of where all these cell towers are, and it's basically a fucking trail. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drive past 20 of these cell towers. Now I'm going to a campsite, and I'm gonna tent camp, right? So I stay at a bougie campsite because I need their Wi-Fi. My whole gig is I have to upload my data every night.
Sure.
So I'm literally staying at these fucking really nice hotels because I need high-speed internet. And I'm checking in at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm leaving at sunup. As soon as the sun comes up, I'm out. And really expensive for me.
Right.
Coming in, getting some shit started uploading, jump in the shower, get out of the shower, make sure it's still uploading, set my alarm for every 2 hours so I can make sure uploading's still happening. And then get up at 4, make a cup of coffee, start packing shit up, sun comes up, I leave. Bounce, bounce, bounce. So I decided tent camp. That was the best fucking idea. I had like home base set up for a week and a half. Oh, it was perfect, dude. I left with the plan. I didn't pack any camping shit. I didn't have any. I stopped at Camping World on the way there, and in my mind, I go, okay, I'm paying $1,000 a week at a hotel. Mm-hmm. If I'm gonna camp for, let's just say, a week, let's just see what I spend. So I went in there and got a badass tent, dude. Way bigger than I needed. And everything, bro, everything. And it was like $400. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I stayed for 2 weeks. Went up to the place when I left because the owner of the camp came over like, dude, you got it set up here. I had like a separate tent that I shit at a shitter in.
Yeah.
Like I set it up, the little pop. So I go to leave, and the guy's like, I go, hey, you want this shit? And he's like, what? And I go, all this. And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, I mean, I'm not going to pack all this up. And I just wanted to save some money, and I literally, like, I stayed here for 2 weeks. And he said, I'm going to refund your campsite fee back. And I go, yeah, that'd be great.
Whoa.
So even Steven. And he goes, yeah. So it was $45 a night for the camp fee, stayed for 2 weeks. I got that back. So yeah, I paid $400 for 2
Basically
weeks.
just rented it. And
So and instead I would have paid $400 for 2 nights of a hotel. So they got all that shit. I don't know what he did with it, but it was set up, dude. Like it was a hotel, a tent I could stand up and walk around in. I had like a desk.
and everything from Camping World. And
A queen air mattress.
Mm-hmm.
The drone was with me in there. He had like his little dog bed in there. I left everything, dude.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I had rugs and shit.
Would you do it again?
Oh yeah. So when I went back the next time, I prepared and I packed for it and had like a cot and a pop-out tent that was normal and it was fun. It was cool. I enjoy it. I really like. Again, I now like nature. I like to fish. I like to kayak. I have a couple kayaks.
Yeah, we keep a few on deck.
And that dog he kayaks with me.
Does he?
He gets right on the front and sits there. And
it's kind of funny because I didn't know anything about being outdoors. I was terrified of the outdoors. Terrified.
I'm not so unlike that.
And so when we started staying out of the van, I'm Mr. Completely Unprepared. I didn't know shit from Shinola when it came to what am I going to need. And Nicole, thank God for her, because she had done a lot of camping in her life.
Okay.
She's like, oh, well, we need this and this and this. And she put together everything. And I was amazed at
the shit
fact that we used everything. Because I had done these like motorcycle trips where I'd take literally a one-man pup tent, sleep next to the bike. But I mean, all I needed was beer.
Yeah.
So I didn't take food. I didn't take provisions. I didn't take toilet paper. I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'll figure it out.
Somebody got a piece of gum? No? Fair enough.
Yeah. So when we're actually like living out of this van and we have our whole, everything we cook, all of our food.
She's busting pouches out of shit. You're like...
It was awesome.
We got wet wipes?
Yeah. We could just pull over anywhere and just set up lunch.
Yeah.
Not having to stop and go out to eat for every meal.
Right.
She made it to where it was
livable,
functional. Like it felt like home. And we traveled with our dog.
Yeah.
We went everywhere on the road with it. He's got more miles under his ass than most Americans.
Hell yeah.
But it was a...
So cool, right?
I needed it in my life. And I can remember, she would take me to these national parks and I would really give her pushback. My mood, which I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to go somewhere else. For no reason other than my fear of the unknown, not knowing
It's not comfort.
Oh, I can just stand here and enjoy looking at this mountain in front of me. I can enjoy looking at the lake that you brought me to. Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like putting all of
And then what? You'd stop pouting and be like, okay.
Yeah, I just like settle in and go, oh,
holy shit.
This is actually pretty relaxing. And then you have to go back and apologize for being, a grown
man. Well, what it
guy.
Is you're just like, I don't even know what that was about.
I didn't know what it was, other than it was just so far removed from what my norm was. Growing up with my dad who didn't fish, didn't hunt, didn't do anything outside. And I can, we may have talked about it last night, but I can remember him saying things like, fishing and hunting is for people who don't know how to work.
Right.
So they have to know how to do that so they can eat.
Right.
Oh, you know how to work. You got skill. So you'll always be able to eat.
Right. Whenever it's like, that's fucking insane.
It's the dumbest thing ever looking back. So they don't have to work and they're still eating? You hear what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
It was such a stupid concept. I was single digits whenever he's telling me this.
It makes sense.
Like, can we go fishing? My cousin's going fishing.
No, you know how it works.
No, we're hanging drywall. Oh, okay. Well, I guess.
Teach you how to work so you can eat forever. I think that's what Jesus said, Dad.
So I had a lot of bad programming to break down and remove in my life, and that's I'm grateful to my wife because she allowed me the space during all of those difficult.
Isn't that crazy? We can laugh about it now, but it's like, what the?
It's
what
comical looking back.
What kind of T-shirts were you making back then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
If you made first your last, like what? Did you just? What were you teaching us?
It was skewed, but
He believed it.
It was based on what his dad.
Yeah, he believed it.
My dad at one point was the youngest registered business owner in Illinois, and he had an auto mechanic shop out on 36.
Yeah.
And his dad made him start a business, so he'd go in before school.
Yeah.
And go in after school and just work on cars. So that was his driving force.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think his whole existence, even though his dad passed away at a young age, he was always trying to
You bust your
do
ass
the
to make
things that
money.
would have impressed his dad. And I think I fell into that, and I was always trying to do things that I thought would have impressed my dad.
Yeah.
Until I was like, well, he was kind of silly. Like, the way that he perceived things didn't impress me. So
Right.
I had to break free of those holdbacks, you know?
Yeah. Well, so what are your? Was there ever a point? I mean, where your parents understand what your take on life is now?
Yeah, my mom does.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of
Like she
really-
agrees or just understands?
She understands.
Yeah.
I don't know if she fully gets it.
Yeah. They're older.
But she-
they're older.
Yeah.
They've also seen and heard a lot more.
But she also watched the whole transition, and she watched how I had to go through cutting ties with certain things,
Yeah.
how I had to go through and just,
We can't
cut
argue with
ties.
seeing her son become a better person.
Yeah, and cutting all these different contracts that I had with different agencies, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for her, it doesn't necessarily make sense. She loves the idea of moving down to Tennessee and living out in the country and having
Yeah.
some chickens, and
Has she got to come check you out at all?
she's been down one time.
Okay.
Yeah, her and my sister and my little brother came down.
Early on, or since you've developed a little?
Since it's been a little bit developed.
Did she get to stay on the property when she was?
No, they
Okay.
stayed at a hotel.
Okay, okay, yeah.
She wanted to have a toilet nearby. She
Okay.
wanted, you know what I mean?
Yeah. She needed a little bit more.
So, and that's also, what inspires us. Like, okay, we weren't ever going to do like flushing toilets, but now we're like, hey, we need to. We just need to do that for people because we found out people are not comfortable with
Right. Some people are. some-
primitive style. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah, I guess it does. It
we
goes
just want to
both.
make it more comfortable for people that are kind of
In
wanting
between.
to test the waters, but
Yeah.
not able to go.
No, I guess good point. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I had a friend down last week, and he loves coming out. He's been down 5 or 6 times from Kewanee, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
He's a young guy, maybe 25.
Okay.
But every morning he gets up and goes up to Love's, which is like 10 minutes from us.
Uh-huh.
Showers, shit,
Yeah.
at Love's, and then he'll come back.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going on.
But the idea of like solar shower and compost toilet, he's like, nah, that's not for me.
Do your thing, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, I guess it's to each their own. But you have a good point towards like, well, we want you to be able to partake in this experience, and we don't want you to not be able to shit comfortably to make
Right.
it not come.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's the least we can do. Is,
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're unrestricted, unincorporated, so we just do it all on our own. We're not
Yeah.
asking permission. We're not filing permits. And
Yeah. You just
like
make
that.
it so,
We
hey,
just make it happen.
here's a picture of what we got. If this is good enough for you, then come
Yep.
shit here in the morning.
Yep, exactly. That's the plan. Hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, it will. It will. I think it's awesome, dude. Well, you guys got a cool thing. It'll be interesting. Was this the idea?
The idea,
I don't feel like
And
when we
it's-
talked very originally that it was like, we're going to build a fucking resort out here.
I think originally I wanted to be living off grid and I wanted to offer a place where I could tattoo people and just have a place for them to stay when they come out. That all got accomplished pretty quickly. And then we're like, well, we have so much room. What else can we do? So then we're like, well, let's put up 4 cabins.
Yeah.
Let's do them different levels of off-grid. So we have intentions of having some that are a little bougier, some that have like indoor plumbing, some that are completely off-grid on rainwater collection, solar power, wood burning.
Dude, that's genius, man.
And that way people can like select how
real you want to get,
real
bro.
you want to get. How long do you want to stay and try this out?
So can you hunt on your? I mean,
Yeah,
is there shit to hunt?
we have tons of deer, tons of turkeys.
So if someone came out, is there hunting season and stuff?
There is, yeah.
So if someone came out there and was like, hey man, I'm trying to come live off the land for a month and stay at your spot, is it doable?
It would be, yeah. Yep.
That kind of seems kind of cool.
I mean, if people wanted to hunt.
I mean, as you go hike through your property and
Yeah, we currently have like carved out intentional. We have maybe a half a mile of walking trail just on the very front
yeah,
half up on top. And then it goes down into a ravine, and then we have a stream that cuts through there.
okay,
And then beyond that, there's nothing tapped into it. We've only tapped into maybe 4 acres
okay, all
so
right,
far.
yeah.
So we got 10 more that we're gonna work on
yeah. You're like that's
getting roads and trails and stuff.
Yeah.
But we can only do that stuff in the wintertime, the ticks and the bugs and the snakes and you know what I mean? Everything
Hell
gets to be
yeah.
so active in the summer, and it's so dense with leaves that you can't
Yeah.
see where you're at.
You guys garden?
We do.
A lot of yeah.
We haven't got to where we're like canning things, but we go out and pluck the veggies we want that
Oh,
morning
yeah.
and cook them or whatever. And then we got our chickens that, we get eggs from them and just the simplicities. Beef.
A little bit of time.
We've got a neighbor he keeps like 100, 150 head of cattle, and he's awesome. He loves what we're doing. He comes over just to like, he likes to talk spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
and he's probably close to our age, maybe a little bit older, and he's intrigued, but he's always just been a farmer, and he's like, well, we'll set you up with some beef, we'll just do it at market.
Right.
But I'll grow them however you ask me to. If you want them to be grass fed from calf to slaughter, I'll do that. If you want them corn fed to fatten them up, I'll do that. Like, it's pretty cool
That is cool.
that he's willing to do that. And then I get a lot of deer
Hell yeah.
clients, and I get a lot of deer from neighbors that like,
Just have a deep freezer. And
yeah, they're all out there, like they make their own, they process it themselves,
That's
they
the
add
bomb.
their own seasoning to
That's
it.
the bomb, dude.
It would be like one of our goals in the future is to have like a little kind of apothecary general store.
Yeah.
Like handmade natural pharmacy. We'd like to have meat and cheeses and stuff that are
Herbs
sourced
and-
locally.
Yeah.
We would like to do the pole barn breakfasts and stuff like that with all locally sourced farm to table from around the area.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So these are all things that we have in the works now. Like these are the directions we want to go. Handmade soaps, shampoos,
Yeah.
toothpastes. I make my own deodorant.
You do currently?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't used a store-bought deodorant in probably 3 years.
Really?
And it's just reducing the amount of chemicals that go into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine that I wear has like 3 ingredients, and
Right.
it lasts for 48 hours. I put it on once every 2 days.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
And so you're saying open up your own little store?
Yeah, just build a building on the property and make it make it available to the neighbors.
Yeah. Put it out there.
For super basic.
Dude, that's another one of the things. If you have a website, you can throw it on.
Yeah, and there is a company that reached out to us out of Florida who are doing the farm to table, and they're like sending stuff out all over the U.S. and they've reached out and said, hey, if you got a need for our service, they gave me this whole list of groceries that they carry, which is just like all of your fruits and vegetables, but grown with no pesticides on it, no herbicides. It's all naturally grown. So
Like exactly what you're going for without having to go find it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
So that's another avenue we're kind of looking at.
Hey, everybody, we got to interrupt the episode for a minute because we have to talk to you about the Season 3 sponsor, Viewig Commercial Real Estate. If you're in the market for commercial real estate, reach out to your boy Cole Babcock at Viewig Commercial Real Estate for all your commercial real estate needs, whether you are buying, selling, leasing, investing, upgrading, downgrading, you have questions, whatever it is. If it's about your business, about growing, about downsizing, if it's about commercial real estate, reach out to Viewig Commercial Real Estate, and they got you covered. You can find them on all social media platforms. You can also find them on viewigrealestate.com or hit them up on the phone, 217-450-8500. If you are in need to get that house in order, from small projects to big projects, whether it's just things to get off your to-do list or things that you're just not really capable of doing that you told your wife maybe you could do but you can't, or you have major projects that you're looking to dump some money into, take advantage of Clean Cut Painting and Handyman, some of the offers they have going on for March and April. They have some major discounts going on for interior and exterior painting projects. Hit them up online at cleancutservice.com or look them up on all social media platforms. Clean Cut Painting and Handyman. They're your go-to for all your home improvement and home repair needs in Decatur and Springfield area. You'll be glad you reached out to them. Good people, hard workers, good work. Women's Citric Company. There you go. Lastly, Oakwood Screen Printing. Michelle has built a team down there. They do top-notch work. Now they are competing with anyone, anywhere by offering 15% off all orders ordered from anywhere. Go to oakwoodscreenprinting.com. Customize your order for your apparel with your design, your quantity, your quality, and she will ship it to you. Use promo code BB217 at checkout, and you will get an additional 15% off. There you go, Oakwood Screen Printing, custom apparel company. Don't snooze on this one. All right, thank you to all the sponsors. Now let's get back to the show.
Sounds like you guys are, well, for you to say that we're on the same page and you don't have anything laid out, mapped out, you sure did just map something.
Well, these have just been in the last couple of months. We're like, man, we need, like, people come out and they forget razors. People come out and they
no shit.
They're running down to get.
I'm the most toothbrush forgetting dude ever,
exactly.
bro.
Like, but it would be cool if you could find somebody who made natural toothbrushes.
You are you're right on the money.
So there again, you just
matter of fact, you go buy that shit because someone made it.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't forget.
Yeah. Or do it more of a consignment. You know, let people send it to us. Once we sell it, we'll send you a check or a donation from our ministry to you.
Yeah.
And that way, it's non-taxable to them.
No, you're right. That's a great idea, dude. So, it's kind of, again, one of them where now that you say it, it's like, yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And then just, like I said, keeping everything in the private side. So with doing a little general store open to my neighbors, they don't have to sign membership agreements. I just have to have notices as you walk in, and notices like this is all, you know, on the private side. We're operating.
What? So you'd be giving it away, and they could
no, they just wouldn't be paying taxes on it, and they wouldn't, you know, when they're cashing out.
Right.
What they would be doing is making donation, receiving donation.
Gotcha. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And is there a paper receipt, or it's like, no, it's just donation for donation?
We could always do a paper receipt.
Right.
And I have also got like the forms, like if you made a donation, I can give you a tax form to file with your taxes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
But good for you. I mean, Yeah.
Never did I think this was going to be my life path, but I've never been more passionate about a concept or an idea either.
Well, and I just think even aside from you figuring out how to do it without getting, without having 30% of what you're working towards taken. I mean, just the idea in general, dude, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
You guys are building something freaking amazing. And to go, hey, we're going to be living proof that you can do it, man. You don't have to wait till you retire and find it already.
Yeah, I mean, we've, just as an example, like we went from...
A lot of people, I think it's becoming more popular for people to see how much people hitting the outdoors when COVID hit made a lot of people see how much they don't need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm one of
Simplicity did come. You know what I mean?
And the amount, like, when I was in Decatur basically when I met Nicole. So I'm, let's say 40, 41, somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
And my outgoing expenditures for life, I was paying out every month about $13,000 in bills and loans and all this stuff.
Right.
Today, our cost to live is about $1,100. That's all we pay out in the course of a month to maintain everything that we have. Our power bill runs about $40 a month. Our water bill is
your
$12 to $16
monthly expense is now your annual expense.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
But I've never felt more free because I just don't have all the expense.
Yeah, a lot, so unnecessary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't miss any of it.
Not one bit. You would
Weight
think so.
lifted.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. Actually, when
You feel like you have way more.
Yeah, I definitely
You
like
do.
just having the ability to take my dog on a walk, and we'll walk a half mile or a mile and never leave the property. We're just hanging tough. Like that's enough for me.
Yeah, like you said yesterday, you want to walk outside in your underwear with a cup of coffee, no one's out there.
Yeah.
You just see what the temperature was. It's when.
Yep.
Feels pretty good. That's just amazing, dude. Good for you. You got me. I really want to see this place. I seen the video, that Nicole posted.
Get you scheduled.
And it was like, that is just...
Do you still have a camper?
I know. So Rodney Powell from Robbie's?
Yeah.
Him and his wife purchased it.
Okay.
So after it sat here, because I got when things went sideways and Jen and I split, I got rid of it. And I had put pictures on Facebook as I was doing the build on it. Well, Rodney's wife had been following. So as soon as I put out there that I was selling it, he calls me like, dude, apparently I have to come look at this camper that I have no interest in even fucking buying because I don't camp. And I'm like, what's up? And he goes, are you selling your camper? Yeah, he said, Christy saw this and apparently you have a redone like an apartment or something. And I go, oh, yeah. It's bougie as fuck, dude. And he goes, all right, when can we see it? So they came and looked at it and he showed up with cash. So... yeah, he came.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he goes, all right, we want it. And I was like, you gonna look at it? And she goes, oh, I've already seen it. They looked. They said, yeah, we want it. Can you bring it to us? I go, yeah. When? Now? So I just ran into them like 2 days ago. And she goes, you remember you said that you sold it, you wanted to get rid of it to someone who would take care of it? And I go, yeah, I did. And she pulls out a video. They got a permanent home, seasonal permanent home for it in, I don't know, Shelbyville or Clinton. Dude, they got a full deck that goes the 30-foot deck that comes out like 20 feet, steps down into gravel with a big fire pit, a huge storage shed, a big swing on a pond, go-kart, four-wheeler. I'm like, what
I love it.
the hell?
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, dude, lit up with like a TV, or I mean, a LED, what the hell am I talking about? A big screen projection thing. And I'm like, dude, okay, fair enough. You did way better than I did with that. But I was like, that is dope. And they're like, we're so busy.
They're having the best
They said
time,
it's 30 minutes away, and we just
How's Robbie
escaped.
liking it though?
The camper?
Yeah.
Oh, he said we freaking love it.
See?
Because they said it's busy, and we can just escape.
Yeah.
And I go, do you? He goes, a month. 1 month is when we get to check in, because they're really busy right now. They're slammed.
Downtown? Good.
Yeah, he's like, it's one of the, they want to be busy, and then they're understaffed. They're a reservation place.
Okay.
People aren't big on, we're not a reservation town.
Well, that's awesome.
So, yeah, they end up getting slammed. And of course, they accommodate, but that ends up making it so, yeah.
You were asking earlier about the van on the property.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a 1981 camper van, Dodge camper van, that has 24,000 miles on it. And a friend of mine, he's a tattooer, and he was out of Ohio at the time. So he and his girlfriend at the time were watching us build out our van, live out of our van, got inspired, and they built out a little Astro van.
Uh-huh.
Well, then
The little Chevy.
the little tiny one.
Yeah.
So him and his son used it a lot, and then they upgraded and they bought this 81 and started redoing it, painted the cabinets, found shag carpet,
Yeah.
re-carpeted it, reupholstered the seats, and he and his gal decided they were going to split.
Uh-huh.
But they didn't want the van to be kind of a burden for either one of them. So they collectively called and said, hey, would you be interested in having this van? And this is probably before we even had the tattoo shop on the property. So people were coming down, but they didn't have any place to stay.
Sarah's coming to visit, but
Yeah.
going elsewhere. And,
Yeah. So he says, if you can pay for the shipping, I'll send it out to you, no charge. You can just have it. You inspired us. We want to donate it. And I'm like, well, I can't turn that down.
Yeah.
2 days later, it shows up, and
A van.
yeah,
Okay.
the van shows up on a flatbed truck, and we unload it. I fire it up, and it runs a little bit, like it's rough.
Yeah.
The engine hadn't been gone through, and it's set up by our house for quite a while. We just plugged it into the front porch. All the lights would come up, everything in it worked. A lot of friends came through and stayed in it.
Oh, okay, so you can crash in it.
Yeah, it had like maybe a queen size or full size
Yeah.
in the very back. So when we had our roads put in, before we got the little cabin, the guy that did the roads goes, man, I found this cool little spot that was not exactly where I thought we were going to put it, but it was perfect.
Right.
So he went ahead and carved it out, backfilled it with rock, and leveled it, and like no extra charge.
Yeah.
So what he was all over the project I already had him doing. He was just excited.
Yeah.
So the day we're trying to move it, it will not start. It won't start. And since we're on a slope, I had Nicole hop in. Very good driver. She's a very good driver.
Oh, boy.
And she backed this thing up in neutral. Like I gave it a little push,
Uh-huh.
and she just coasted it all the way, eighth of a mile, maybe longer, around
Into the spot?
Yeah, and that's exactly where it's been since that day. We've never fired it up again. We've never.
It didn't start at that point? It didn't?
No, it just like I think the battery leads were bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was something simple, but
That's hilarious. I
she
can
literally
imagine
got
that.
it landed exactly
Where-
in the right spot, and it's not moved since. But we always struggle with like, well, it'll be closed up for 2 or 3 weeks. We'll forget about it. It's got a little deck on it, like to add some more space.
Yeah.
It's cool, but we're just not using it as often.
Right.
There's a fire pit in front of it and a couple gliders, and it's
Okay.
a nice place to go hang.
Hell yeah.
So we've always just like, if you're staying in the cabin, there's board games in there, you guys can hang out. but there's always like little mice and they're driving me crazy. So I'm like, how can I, because I was to the point a couple weeks ago, I'm like, why don't we just sell the van and invest in another cabin,
Right.
get that out here. And she's like, there's got to be something better we can do.
Yeah.
So we talked about it on the podcast, and I'm like, man, I've got this friend of mine in Texas, and he's got these old, like the sardine can campers, you know what I mean, the teardrop shape.
Yeah.
And he converted them into photo booths,
Yeah.
like portable photo booths for events. And I'm like, that's what we need to do. Let's just take the kitchen out. We'll repurpose that somewhere else on the property.
Yeah.
Build a wraparound bench, and then just stage the dash looking back with, you know, lights and a camera, and then set it up with a printer that just
So easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as we do like wedding events and stuff, we'll get all the silly hats and costume stuff, boas, and make it available, you know, for people to use. So I think that's going to be our next plan, moving it back closer to. Like,
again, it's one of those things that you can't not do.
Yeah, but we already have it. So
you have to do it. You're there.
Yep.
You know.
In all honesty, to get all of that accomplished would take an afternoon.
Yeah,
to make it happen.
Yeah, it's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, you don't. It's not necessary to put on a priority list until you make it so there's more people coming there to use it. So it's kind of like
we do a lot of pictures in front of like the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Yes, we do a lot of
the TP thing was cool.
TP. We have the main sign up front. A lot of people want to get a picture with the Whittington Homestead sign.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
That is cool.
I love it. And that's how we've been doing most of the marketing, is just grassroots. Literally let the place speak for itself through the people that have experienced it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. Well, bigger and bigger, dude. You got something cool cooking.
I know.
But I think that's also it, is you're going, hey, this is somewhere you can come stay that's a step above like camping, but then you get there and go, oh, the story is, here's what we're doing.
Yeah, and we can tattoo you while you're here. You get a souvenir.
Hell yeah.
So we're really just taking all of the things that we enjoy in life and presenting that back to our friends and family and members. Like we'll eventually have a little yoga studio and a karate dojo out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, and come soak in a little bit of this.
I'll just start, like I've got a couple.
It's raining today. You ain't never been wet?
Yeah. That's where the pole barn came in, because we did have numerous guests that were like, they'd come out and the weather just wasn't cooperative. But there's no place to go and hang out.
And you're like, the cabins aren't really cut out to hang out.
Yeah, so we started putting these decks on things and started putting the roofs over, like just expand the space a little bit.
Because outdoors is still cool when it's raining, but not when you're getting
sometimes
wet.
even cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
Sleeping under a metal roof when it's raining, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, there's something to it. You're right. Yeah. Dude, I just think it's exciting. I mean, I don't know what I thought you'd do. I mean, it was hard telling. I didn't know if your path would end up being like famous tattoo artist type dude. And then for a while I was like, is he gonna get into this music thing pretty tough? I don't know why I thought that, because I seen you starting to get into it. Just
honestly, I started trying to play guitar a little bit more because I was trying to figure out something to build a connection with my father-in-law. He and I didn't see eye to eye early in our relationship, and mine and Nicole's relationship, and he is an amazing guitar player. Mm-hmm. He's a rock and roller from way back. He's had a bunch of bands, Indicator, over the years, and I thought, okay, well, I can strum a little bit, so maybe if I get better at it, we'll have some kind of topic.
Did you get better?
No, not really.
Did you guys get better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he and I, we get along great.
He was like, look, you suck at playing guitar. We can be friends.
Yeah. Yeah, now he calls me like, whenever I don't think he understood that I knew more about home improvement and maintaining and stuff like that. So now when he has those questions.
Okay.
He used to have some buddies he would lean into, you know, and like, oh, so-and-so came over and did this, you know, such and such. But now he's like, hey, what kind of fitting on my propane do I need
Gotcha.
for my fireplace?
Yeah. You get the credit now.
Yeah, it just took a lot of patience for both of us. He had his mindset on the type of person I was. I had my mindset on the type of person he. Turns out
you were both
we're
wrong.
not that much different.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. But yeah, I think it's just so amazing. And again, I think when it goes from people get out of high school and go to college, go to the business world, or go to the military, or start families. As you grow and through different stages of life, you shed people.
Yeah.
It's not negative. It's just part of your past. It's part of your story. It's part of, you know what I mean?
I agree, yeah.
And, I would like to think that no one looks at what you're doing now and goes, what a fucking idiot.
But certain people do, but I'm okay with it because I would have been that same person 10 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I completely get.
I mean, even to say I couldn't do it is, you know what I mean? Is one thing, but I think it's admirable. And to be like, you're going, hey, let's come hang out.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. I really just want to share this to where people can see it in real life, in real time.
Yeah.
Not some hokey TikTok video of, somebody's influencer life. Like, this is a real thing that anybody can achieve if you set your intentions to live differently.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother spectrum of life out there hardly tapped into.
Yeah.
Not many people are doing it. There's not a lot of competition for this lifestyle. So
Yeah.
get in where you fit in, but try it out. Like, let me provide a place for you to try it and see. And that most people that come out are like, man, I could live in something like this. Like, there's no maintenance. This is easy.
Well, even in the last 12 hours, that you've educated me on, I guess the lifelong training that we've just had on what our goal is supposed to be, even from when we're in school. It's you get taught to figure out what your next move is to become the most valuable so you can make the most money, to become the most successful, to buy the most shit, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. That seems to be the course that we all get set on. And it starts with public school, which is in the public side.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's not really anybody's fault. It's just what it is.
No, it's just part of the conditioning.
Yeah, it's crazy. It shouldn't be. I know you don't pay attention that much on purpose, maybe, but our newest president, who's not really a politician, dude, there's some solid exposure happening currently.
Yeah,
that is crumbling
the
political world.
Dude. Is it?
Yeah,
I just see people arguing on Facebook a little bit. But
it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real interesting. I mean, it's almost like. Who puts people in jail for stuff? What happens to people like this? I mean, it is just solid. I mean, decades of criminal activity going on. This is why we're in debt as a country. It's because we're crooked.
Yep.
And
well, I mean, based on what I've come to know, on just structurally, how we're all set up. It's very obvious to me how crooked everything is. Just the fact that by way of coercion, we get convinced to contract into these different...
But it took a couple IT tech nerds to be billionaires and go, hey, hold on. Hey, President, can I volunteer to show you something real quick?
Yep.
And in 24 hours, it was like $1.5 billion shown in losses. And they go, wait, what?
And my take on that is the fact that I know it's a corporation. And I know we have a corporate guy at the head of it now. We've had politicians at the head of a corporation, but if you're going in to save a company, what's the first thing you do? You assess where your losses are at. So, and that's exactly what we're seeing happen now.
I think his exact statement was like, these aren't hidden. These are common sense.
Yeah.
These aren't even like, let's dig.
Yeah.
It's that everyone that has been in office has been told, don't fucking pay attention to this. Pay attention to all that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, forever?
Busy.
Yeah. Since Kennedy got shot off the back of that car.
Yeah.
That's since when?
Well, I mean, the whole political spectrum changed so much, even going back to 1933. That's when a lot of these statutes were imposed. When they removed the gold standard, they had to create a way to keep money coming in. So you take somebody who is a fisherman and you create a license for it. Well, now you get a license fee. Well, then you take somebody who's a truck driver and you impose a fee for them to be on the roads. Well, if it works for a truck driver, that's got to work for everybody. If you just tell them that they have to have a license, they have to pay to get the license. They have to pay.
You're sure right. There's a license for everything.
Everything. There's, you know what I mean? Like all these things that we used to do because they were the work of our hands are now taxed by the government, who gives you the privilege of doing it because you forgot that you had the right to do it.
Huh. Annual renewable license.
Yep. And then if you sidestep any of those terms and conditions, well, now we can revoke your right, or
you can pay to reinstate.
You can pay to reinstate it. So now you're creating money that way as well. It's a really messed up system, keeping everybody in line through the way of like reward and correction, reward, correction.
Yeah.
But it's all
yeah.
De facto. None of it is still de jure. They flipped the whole police system on the people. They're not protecting the people. They're
everything's.
You know what I mean? They use that. You know what a copyright law? Are you familiar with it? Like if you own a company and somebody else tries to use your name to monetize off of it.
Right.
This is what happens every time you get a citation on the side of the road. The state takes your name because you haven't claimed it. It's just
given to you.
And they say, okay, well, you owe $50. They just created $50 on your name that you have to pay the state. Now they made you not the beneficiary of that name, but the trustee of the name. And they turn themselves into the beneficiary of your name because you've never taken time to realize you own the rights to the name. They own the privilege to it. You own the rights.
But they'll come get you and you're going, hey, I never claimed that name.
Yep.
But they'll still come get you. And they're like, well, tell the judge you didn't claim that name.
Yep.
Oh, exactly. I got you.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you happen to tell your lawyer that, they're going to be like, you just fucked up. You rushed your lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like I say, we live in a very de facto system. There's a de jure out there. It's called the Republic of the United States.
Okay.
But everything else is fake. It's a
Do you have somebody who is like your mentor in this?
No. This has been
you.
One long, hard...
Is your wife on this journey?
No.
Or is she like, if you don't get your psycho ass out of here with that?
No, she...
Did you just say it's time for me to take a walk in the woods?
She does back up, especially because I bring receipts. I'm like, look right here. It says it in their laws. This is what it says. And she's like, okay. But... she also doesn't want to opt out of the tax system. She doesn't want to do certain things, so she maintains her nursing license, pays for it. You know what I mean? To have
because she has thing, yeah.
So, and that there again, I get it. I created a path for myself.
Sure.
She has her own. She's her own person. We are married, but I don't control how she lives her life. She does respect
understand.
how I live mine,
Yeah.
and the way, the principles that I like to put forward and apply.
Yeah.
But I don't subject her to adhering to every single thing.
Yeah, she's like, I am a registered nurse. Bro.
Yeah.
I do registered nurse shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, what you're saying does make sense. You've just studied it. You've lived it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting as shit. I can only imagine. So there's definitely some people listening.
I put a bunch of little Easter eggs on, usually in my story, on social media. I'll drop little... I just want to inspire people to go, what in the F is he even
What is he talking
talking about? Why does he keep bringing it up?
Is there a book? Is there a couple books that you've read that you would like to recommend at
I
least
literally
diving
just go to
into?
Cornell Law, and if I've got a topic in mind, it's just an online
Yeah.
law.
Oh, it's not. You haven't like. There's not like a page you follow or a YouTube guy or no. It's literally.
Yeah,
you're talking about the law.
there are a few people that this is what they
Yeah.
preach and teach, but so many of them have different opinions
Yeah.
on certain things, or their interpretations are different one from another. But I think it's just important to really understand the definitions are not what we think they are. There's two types of definitions. You have law definitions that come from Black's Law Dictionary. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Exactly. We get Webster's Dictionary. That's
And Webster was white. Now we're going to talk about Black's law. No.
but that's the difference, because our brain thinks that certain terms mean certain things, so we agree to them based on the definitions we know to be true. However, when you step into a courtroom or into a legal sense, those definitions are not the same anymore.
Oh, they mean everything. I mean,
You believe that you, sitting here in a chair wearing a black shirt, is a person.
because you means me sitting in the chair.
The term person, we think, means is a
human
noun,
being.
human being. That is not what it is in law. A person in law is a franchise, corporation.
Oh fuck.
So when you're reading contracts, person A is your ens legis. It's your corporate
Yes.
person, your fictional person. It's
Yes.
a franchise.
Yeah.
The living man, and there's only living man and living woman that have rights under constitutional and common law. Everything else is offered privileges that can be bought or revoked. Period. But that's just one definition that skews us from understanding when you go into court what's actually being said. I love reading contract law. It's one of my favorite things to dive into. It's so silly, but it is what drives the entirety of the world.
Right.
Is contracts.
I mean, there's 100% chance as you grow the community that you're going to build there, that you're going to get challenged.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't.
There's 100% chance.
Well, I'm going to court in 2 weeks to stand pro se. So I'll be standing
For
myself
For
to
what?
challenge jurisdiction because of a citation I got for. I have a driver's license,
Uh-huh.
but I don't have to present the license. I have a passport that I present,
Uh-huh.
and I have insurance, and I could register my truck, but I'm so firm on the fact that constitutionally I don't have to register my truck. So I've got expired tags on it, and I'm just going to go in and present the facts, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Like, they may want to make an example of me and, throw the book at me, so to speak, or I'm going to know my facts so well that they just dismiss it.
Yeah,
As it should be.
I just didn't know is it like one of those deals where if you are on this state's roadway, then you have to abide by these certain. You know what I mean?
Because the governments don't own roadways.
Is that right?
No.
I know they don't own airspace in certain locations, but I didn't know how roadways work.
Roadways are owned by the people.
Okay,
That's
fair enough.
The republic.
Yeah.
So everybody's entitled to use them.
Yeah.
The idea of
If you put fuel in your car and pay tax, you're right, it's ours.
The registrations, when you go back and research, like, where did the registration come from? When did they start putting these out?
Yeah.
When did they start taking?
It should go higher every year.
Those were originally designed as an anti-theft prevention program. So everybody, like, if you register your car, it's going to be easier to find it if somebody steals it. So you want to register it. Well, then that turns into basically racketeering.
Just keeping tabs on your address.
You have police that come up and say, "Where's your insurance and your registration?" There's two items that they want you to pay for their protection that are other corporations. So you got one corporation telling you have to buy into this corporation and this corporation to operate. And if you don't, but is that not the exact same thing the mob gets in trouble for with the RICO Act and racketeering?
Yeah, you're on the money there.
So when you present that to the courts, who are bound by the supreme law of the land, every officer, every lawyer, every judge must take an oath to the Constitution. If they don't uphold it, well, then they're subject to be countersued.
So it's just a matter of really, you just hope that who you're sitting there in front of's interpretation is in the same clarity as yours. And it's possible, right?
It is very possible.
I mean,
because these are all based on what I'm basing my life on is Supreme Court rulings that have already taken place.
And I just mean it's not impossible that a judge will sit there and hear you and go, yeah. Because I believe that judges are not necessarily pro anybody. You know what I mean?
The only thing I could say in the downside to the position of a judge is that they are intended to be a disinterested third party, the party of fact.
Oh, yeah, I guess they're definitely...
But the way that their retirements are funded is through guilty verdicts. Because that brings money into the court system like a bank. And that gets deferred into the retirement funds of everybody that works for the court systems. So it is not as much of a disinterested party as you would hope.
What the? That's insane. That's insane.
And it may not be true in every single county, but I'm pretty certain.
That is fucking insane.
So I'll put that.
I would have way rather have not known and just thought like what I thought.
Yeah. But I mean, who else would fund it? You know
what I'm saying? I would like to think that there was a person sitting there who would look at a state's attorney and go, are you not hearing this shit that just made sense? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To go, I get it. We're all reading the same thing and that shit made sense. Dismissed.
Right.
Sorry. You can appeal it if you want, but someone else is going to hear it too.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. They might also look at you and go, twist it however you want.
Yeah, and I would expect that would be the
$160 fine or show proof.
Right.
And then at that point where you go, well, here, I got it. And then they'll go, you were just being a dick? Or is it like, no, we'll get back to you on that fine that you're given because I'm not claiming to be that entity.
Right.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never met this judge that I'm going to go in front of, but man, you're like calm guy, so you're like it's going to be no problem to maintain composure. I have this. There's just something inside of me working because trust me. There's been times I've been like, man, wouldn't it just be easier? And there's another voice that says, you didn't sign up for easy. You signed up for fact. You signed up to...
Yeah, you can't sit here and tell me all that shit and then go pay it.
I have to go through it. I have to go through the trials.
And see.
To prove to everybody, to prove to myself that, yeah, what I'm studying is fact. But until I, and that's when when I got pulled over, I'm like, okay, well, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me
To see.
Frank, to get on the record, for the record, my stance, my status in this world, which is a free living man under common law. That's the path I've chosen. I understand that it's not easy. It's not the path well traveled. It's the path I chose.
Yeah.
This is a decision that I made, and I have to take it all the way. And if it means that I've got to take the same case to the appellate, to the Supreme, to get to the ruling that I know to be true, then I can bring all of these players that have told me I'm wrong along with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And by way of, countersuing and imposing the tax on them for not upholding their
Well, no, that's good.
obligation to the Constitution. But if nobody's going to do it, nobody's going to see that you can do it.
Yeah, I was saying you have to, because you can't tell people here's what we have to do if you don't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is like, again, if I'm going to show you,
I'm really trying to be a way shower. I'm
Yeah.
trying to carve a path
Yeah.
to success for people to live freely if they choose to.
And it's like,
This other side works fine.
it's like, don't get it twisted. You never ever can break the law intentionally.
No. And that,
you know what I mean?
and that really comes down to do no harm to others. You know, if it's just a statute infraction, well, that's not necessarily breaking the law.
Right.
I'm breaking a code.
Right.
If it's-
There is a difference.
Yeah.
You can't go
and like I
slap
say,
the shit out of somebody. That's
No,
not a,
no, and that's not a way to set an example anyhow. That's
Right.
not the life I'm trying to live. I'm not.
Yeah. I just mean, people hear certain things and go, wait, you don't have to pay taxes or follow the law. It's like wrong.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
I do wear my seat. I hate it, but I'll wear it. I'm not trying to stand out.
But see, my thing is almost like, it's almost worth having $100, $150, whatever it is, to put that sticker on, to not have them damn lights behind you when you get on the highway, just to have to deal with the court date every fucking time.
In my take, that's how they get us.
Oh, because you're damn right you're going to go pay, or I'm going to get you, and you're going to have to go to court. That's the cycle.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
Okay,
so
understood.
it's all based on
Fear. Yeah.
So, am I afraid to go and stand in front of the judge?
You're like, yeah, it sucks.
Of course. It's not like I'm not, but am I also confident in the research that I've done? Am I confident in the codes that I've memorized? Am I confident
You're right.
on the facts that I stand on? Yes.
Yeah.
More so than the fear that I hold from having to pay $30
Right.
fine and
Right.
get a tag,
But then will you get a tag, or will you be like, no, I was right? I mean, is it stop
To be
there?
determined. I think
Or is it like, if they win, they win?
I don't have an answer to that
Yeah.
right now.
Because so here's what they do in Decatur. They just take your shit.
What do you mean?
If you get, like, if your car's not stickered, and you get a ticket, if you have a ticket for not registering your vehicle, and then you didn't register it, and you get pulled over again, the tow truck is taking it like you just got a DUI.
I see. Well, unfortunately, I don't own my truck.
Okay.
God owns it. It's a ministry truck. So,
But you know what I'm saying is, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying I don't. If my name's not on it, they have nothing to take from
Fair
me.
enough.
And that's the whole point of owning nothing. There's nothing to be taken.
Oh, so you're like, it's a whole new thing.
Yeah,
It's a
there
whole
is.
other ballgame.
It doesn't. The ability to remove anything from me doesn't exist because I already removed it from myself.
Because I don't have anything, because I'm just...
I don't have any. I
not
took
even-
a vow of poverty. I don't own anything.
Yeah. This guy. I love it. Dude, this is great.
Just things to think about.
Yeah, that is, dude.
I mean, best case scenario, they just dismiss it and I just walk out and nobody knows the difference. You know what I mean? I don't, once I have presented my case to the prosecuting attorney, which I'll, hand over to him before the day even starts.
Let's see if he can just
see what I've got going on, what I'm planning, because I've got 8 Supreme Court cases in my favor. I've got my claim to.
So you're like, if you want to just nix this shit when we get out of here.
We'll just call it a day.
Yeah.
I won't even collect my fees for you making me do all this work and come in and take time out of my day to, deal with this frivolous case. This is just,
Right.
you're in the wrong jurisdiction. So I'm proving to you I don't live under your jurisdiction. That's it.
Bam.
Bam.
What is that?
The 19th.
All right, that's gonna be good. I don't know.
Like I said, I do get butterflies. I do the internal battle of wouldn't it just be easier? Wouldn't it be?
Of course it would be.
But
stop
then I'm just complying, you know what I mean? And I'm not living up to what I'm telling people is possible. I have to do it.
Yeah.
I can't lead from the back.
Right.
I can't lead from behind and say, you go try it.
Right.
No, that's not me. I've never been that person.
So kind of, this is kind of unrelated, but a story. So I get by 2 tickets, because it's been 2 years ago, I get 2 tickets in the same day, right, driving, for being on a, driving while operating an electronic device. Okay. So I have in my vehicle the same thing the cops have in their vehicle, the RAM mount laptop thing.
Yep.
And I'm on the highway. I just left the job site. I'm uploading some shit, and I feel it. You know what I mean? I feel someone rolling right beside me on the highway. I look over, and it's a trooper, and he looks over, and I'm like, he falls back. He lights me up. I take the exit, pull out. He walks up like, "What's up, man?" And he comes to the passenger side. I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, the tags are in the company name, and he goes, "So you drone?" And I go, "Yeah." And he's like, "Where are you coming from?" I told him what I was doing. And we small talked for a minute, and he goes, "Well, yeah, you definitely know you can't be on the computer." And I go, "How'd you know that I had a drone company?" And he goes, "Your license plate was registered to a drone company." And I go, "You were on your computer."
Well, that's my job.
He said, "Yeah, I'm allowed to be on my computer." Basically, he said it. I'm allowed to. I go, "Are you really?" He goes, "Yeah." Yeah. I go, "Okay, well, fair enough." I go, "Yeah, I can't say I wasn't, so yep." I go, "But, come on, man." And he goes, "Dude, I can't give you a seatbelt ticket." I go, "I was actually going to just say, can you give me a warning?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Funny story." The dude was cool. He said, "So, here's how this works." And I don't even know why he told me this, but he goes, "So a couple months ago, we started having to, when I pull you over, I have to call in, when I call in your place and tell them why I'm pulling you over. And they automatically know the ticket I have to write you." So there's nothing else that can happen.
Interesting.
And I'm like, "Well, you can't," like, he goes, "Yeah, that's it. There's no other way this can go, even if we're cool. I think you're cool. You've sat here and educated me on what to do with the drone that they gave us, and I don't even know what the fuck to do with it. But I can," I go, "It's cool, but you can let me fucking get going and give me this ticket." Now I'm joking with him and shit, but yeah, the guy was cool. So I get back on the highway, hour and a half later, pull into Decatur, fucking get lit up again, pull over. The cop comes up and he's like, I know it was the sheriff actually. I was right after I exited into Decatur. He comes up and he's like, I don't even let him say anything. He leans down into the window and I was like, "Man, what's up, dude?" And he goes, "Excuse me?" And I said, "You got me. Remember, you got me already." he goes, wait, what's that? And he goes, this is from today. I go, yeah, you got me, remember? And he goes, you got this for being on your computer already today? And I go, yeah. And he goes, that's why I pulled you over. I go, I know. Since you guys gave me a ticket, he said I'm allowed to be on it all day. And the dude looked at me. I go, I'm bullshitting, bro. I'm fucking with you. And he goes, that was fucking good. That was good. I go, here. I gave him my shit. And he just looked at me like, if it wasn't 2:30 in the afternoon, I'd ask if you'd been drinking. I go, I fucking need to. I've got 2 fucking tickets. It's not even 3 o'clock.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so I had to do
different counties?
Yeah, one was Champaign County and then one was Macon County.
Yeah.
And so
2 different jurisdictions.
yeah, so I ended up having to. So I get back here. My daughter worked for me at the time. So I get back and I walk in, I fucking throw these tickets on her desk. I think this bullshit. And she's like, what? How is this possible? And I'm like, she goes, you know, if you get one more ticket, then you get your license took for 90 days. And I go, no, I don't. Do you? And she goes, yeah. So she starts looking shit up and she goes, you can do this traffic safety class in Champaign County, but it asks if you've had a ticket. I go, well, I got that one first, so let's sign up for that. You know, I can only do one of them.
Right.
And you can do it online. So she did it for me. And I got that kind of done away with or whatever.
Right, dismissed.
Yeah. And then like the next week, she's like, dude, you got an appointment, drop your car off. And I had bought a Ford Escape just for the gas mileage because I was traveling like a motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And she got an appointment. I got the front windows blacked out. And I'm like, I told my daughter, I said, what the fuck? This is not cool. She goes, what's not cool? You clearly need to not be able to see in your front windows, dude. You got the laptops.
Yeah.
And I was like,
glowing under your chin.
Good. Not a bad idea. You know what I mean? Good call. You looked out for me. I appreciate that. Yeah. So that whole thing transpired, and it was like, okay, the cops were pretty cool to me about it. But
I've never had like terrible or bad experiences dealing with police on the side of the road.
Right.
Traffic stops. I mean, if I was in the wrong, I was in the wrong.
Right.
But that was, again, before I even understood
what was going
how
on.
it all worked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My reason for bringing that up was to say, for them to take away the ability to cut a break to someone who is being cool is shitty.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's I don't know. I just think, if it's the dude who's being nice or the cute girl or whatever, you earned that break or that warning. You should let them do that. Let them be human.
So now before they even get out of their...
Why did you not issue the ticket for the law they broke that you told us about? That's why you're making the stop and we're telling you whose vehicle it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you just automatically, this is what has to happen. And it's like, that's bullshit. I think, or I don't know. I've taken away discretion, but then again, I guess probably discretion is abused because fucking sick, the 5% of sick cops that want their dick sucked, or whatever, sick, stupid shit, whatever. But yeah, it was like, this trooper was kind of saying, it's kind of fucked up, you know what I mean? I can't. I used to be able to just be like, they know I pulled you over, I gotta give you a warning, but I can't do shit, dude. I have to. They're cracking down because people crash when they fucking are watching TV while they're driving. I feel you.
Yeah.
For the record,
I used to be a terrible text and drive.
Right.
When texting got popular, I'd Illinois to Florida text the whole time.
Yeah.
Today, man, I don't even touch my phone. I have it up there for my navigation.
Right.
I have a stereo in my truck, so it's just I listen to podcasts through my phone. That's it.
Yeah.
But if I get messages or calls, let's just wait until I get stopped. I got no intention of.
I remember being with someone and it was one of them where you're driving and it goes like 65 to 40 when you pull into a small town, and we got absolutely just slammed into the back, and jump out of the car, no one got hurt. Jump out of the car and look, and it was a teenage kid, and it was like, he looked terrified, not hurt, and I'm like, you're on your fucking phone? He's like, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, bro, come on, man. I'm not even mad, but
I can't even believe they haven't made like some type of way that
you can't
they disable
operate
your phone while you're or disable the texting.
Elon's doing that shit, bro.
Yeah, they know when it's moving.
Yeah, no shit.
They have the things that you can sign up for, like, I'm driving now, I'll text you back later. You know what I mean? Like those little.
Well, and so in my truck, you can't like pair a device
while you're moving.
Well, you know what I mean? So
the technology's there.
No doubt. Yeah.
And people should just take more consideration also. Like make that part of the driving course. Like put your phone away. Do not be on your phone when you're driving.
That's what's gonna push. That's what people say, oh, I'm not gonna do the autonomous cars. I'd never do that. I don't trust self-driving cars.
Right.
I don't trust that shit. It's like, okay, that sounds good. Let's give it 5 years of driving statistics and let's see what happens. The next 5 years of drivers and how distracted they are.
Yeah.
And we'll see if everyone has the same thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get crowded places that are going to start having to where you'll have there's windshields on screens. Remember how the old Jaguars used to have the projectors? You could see how fast you were going in miles per hour back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to start having interactive windshields of Facebook and Instagram and shit like that.
Probably.
You know what I mean? To where, and they already have the glasses that you can put on that they've made now to where you can boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg just came out with it.
That's a little beyond where I want to be in life.
So I'm going, you guys that's how they're going to put it into self-driving cars, is we're going to have such insane crash rates from people distracted that we're not going to understand it because we're not where they're driving and crashing at. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when we go there, we're going to be like, what in the actual fuck is going on? I'm going to take the train. Is there a train?
Have you been seeing that our magnetic north is moving right now?
Yeah. What is that
like
about?
That is going to throw off everything. GPS. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if, and I don't know much about like these plane crashes we've had.
Yeah, that is currently is throwing off.
Right now.
No, I mean, like, so in the drone world, right? Mm-hmm. So we do GNS and RTK calibrations for, like precision measurement for mapping, okay? And like, so the GPS to RTK measurement is usually fairly close, within 6 inches a lot of times.
That's pretty close.
And within 6 inches. And in the last maybe, since winter, so let's say from fall till now, it's went to like within like 5 feet of accuracy. We're talking, it used to be within, if I took off from this tabletop, I could fly 10-mile radius and it would come back without me doing anything and land on this tabletop. It might land on this side or that side. Now, if I took off from this rug, if I took off from this room, it might land back in this room.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that's
definitely moving its axis. It has been for a while.
So
now it's
a couple drone nerds. That's what they're saying. It's the I don't know anything about it.
But how does that work? Like in our vehicles? How does that work in planes? How does that work in helicopters?
That's why the planes are.
It's something to consider, anyhow.
Yeah. But we sure do. we're like keep putting shit up there though, bro. We got some stuff. We got a bunch of. It's like a salvage yard up there. I'm pretty sure it's like a salvage yard up there.
Yeah.
As long as we got high speed, we're all good though. High speed, baby.
Dude, I don't have high speed. I've got an internet service that we can run one device at a time on it. That's it. And it's the highest speed we can get at where we're at, other than like Starlink, which...
Do you have Starlink?
No.
No, you're saying...
We have...
you're like, we have one bar link.
Yeah. Yeah. We had to get a landline phone to get this internet hooked up.
So, oh yeah, there you go.
True story.
Okay, so if someone's like, hey, will you ever accommodate that? Or you're like, no, we are not, that's not how we're rolling. We have our movie night will be a DVD, if anything.
That's exactly right. Our idea is for people to come out and disconnect from the device so they can reconnect with nature.
For sure.
So there are certain things that I have to have internet for, just like printing.
Yeah.
From, my iPad to the printer or whatever.
Sure.
But other than that, that's the only thing. And
well, you guys do a podcast, so it's nice to be able to upload that.
She uploads from her data. Like, it's faster to do it that way than trying to use our internet.
Okay.
We have to, like, if we want to stream a show on Netflix on the iPad, we have to turn our phones off.
You're better to just download it to the iPad.
And that's what we tell people to do. Like, if you're coming out and you require a device with entertainment, download it before you get here.
Yeah.
Require music, movies.
Put that shit on your device.
Put it on your device before you get here.
Yeah.
But we have pretty good cell service because they just put a tower 5 miles from us or so.
Well, I mean, you guys got a radio with some stations or some CDs or...
Yeah, we got...
Well, you're like, no, you can always just listen.
Yeah. Out in the pole barn, we put a little Bluetooth stereo out there, so you can get some racket going if you need it.
You can always just listen.
Yeah. It's pretty calming just listening.
Yeah. I'm excited for you, man. Happy for you. So you own nothing here anymore, huh? You're like, I own nothing nowhere. Did you not hear? No.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
it's taken a while to get, like, you still got to
broke free from here.
All the names over and all that kind of stuff. But you mean in Decatur?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't own anything here.
Yeah.
No. I sold the last house maybe 6 months ago.
Okay.
4 months ago, something like that. I had Cole sold for us.
There you go.
Babcock.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I can't thank you enough for coming and sitting down.
I was playing this a few months ago. I had to wait till the weather broke so nothing froze over.
Yeah, I was excited that you were going to make the trip, man.
Yeah.
I was flattered that you'd come.
Yeah, I was excited to be invited. I was enjoying the shows you put out. I'm like, that is a good move.
Yeah. Your episode is actually going to be the wrap up to the third season, which I don't know what the plan was for it, but I just started pumping these suckers out.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
You're doing what, 2 a week, roughly?
Yeah, so every 5 days. Originally, I was just boom, 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 boom. But the schedule is not a set day, just every 5 days, a new one comes out. So
yeah, on ours we were trying to do 1 a week, and then we're like, life gets away from us.
Yeah.
Busy with doing things. And
Whittington Homestead is the name on. Right now, it's just on Spotify.
Just Spotify, but we're gonna do that.
Yeah, we're gonna figure that out.
Try to get it out there a little bit more.
So you're gonna just get them all uploaded and give people something to binge. You have quite a few on there. We have a couple seasons.
Yeah, we have I think 20 episodes.
Yeah,
and it's funny to like when you hear the first one, I am trying to be so cautious with what I say.
I have heard the first one.
It just sounds unusual.
Yeah.
And then done more and more. It's just her and I having a conversation, but we try to make it more like we know people are listening, so like...
No, you can tell now.
What did you...
It is. No, you can tell now.
How do you feel?
Your guys' description of things is... it sounds like you guys are doing talk radio a little bit. Sounds good.
We're having fun with it and not making it like too overwhelming for us or making it too scheduled or.
Yeah, and if you don't got shit to talk about, it doesn't have to be long. If you got good stories,
That was the thing. At first, we were trying to maintain this hour-long conversation, but I was realizing, like, well, if we don't get too descriptive about any one topic, we're going to fly through this and just be done.
Right. Your guys' take on, like, the dive motel was awesome. Because you guys kind of had two different takes on it, and then what you took out of it, that was great, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we would like to get to where we can expand it when we have guests out.
Yeah.
Would be interested in talking about their experience out on the homestead or in Tennessee or on that trip that they're on.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people that are coming back from Florida or coming back from Texas or, you know, they're out on the road anyhow and they're like, can we stop in and check out the place on our way back home? Sure. So I think it would be fun to get a setup where we could have 2 to 4 people on the podcast and do more of a question answer interview.
Absolutely, dude.
And we do have people that are like, man, how can I get on the podcast? And we're just like, we got this little cheap unit and 2 mics. I guess you can snuggle in with one of us, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
And I think if we do get it all out in the ether and people do respond and we get more than, 7 listeners at a time.
Yeah.
It could be something.
That's the device you need.
Okay.
The cheapest and best. Yeah, they got a ton of them to choose from, but that's the one I did the research
I'll
on.
maybe just have you send me links to the different ones.
Yeah, the same deal as it was one of them where I go, okay, I have the off-brand of everything.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I want to step it up, but did a bunch of reviews, and it was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Are you, do you have sound editing stuff?
No, so what I did is, basically, it's not just for looks. That's kind of what these are for.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it's just talking, and I can control. So if I save the audio files separately, but I haven't ever needed to do anything with it.
Yeah.
You know, since I changed mics, I haven't needed to. Yeah, and if you listen back, the audio sucked. I'm still really, like, it'll be finally when these last few episodes start coming out is when I'm getting shit fine-tuned with the cameras.
That's awesome, though.
You know what I mean? It's like finally it's coming together to where this episode will be the first one where when I talk, the camera will be on me. When you talk, it'll be on you.
I see.
It'll be the first time. Yeah, I was doing everything wrong. I took a podcast class.
Oh, did you? Like an online class?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, you can count on me to do it the hardest fucking way possible for fucking 30 episodes. Yeah. And then go, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Huh. Yeah. Okay. This is way easier.
Well, I'm gonna take some notes while I'm here anyhow, so hopefully we can improve on how we do our podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys got something good. I think that's what I was just going to say is that's really would be a key way to have people stop through because, there's a lot of people that are like YouTubers and shit that like to come visit places.
Sure.
And it's kind of you can be you don't have to want to be a TikToker vlogger to be like, oh, you guys can come check this out.
Yep.
And
we've had some, like the video you checked out on, that was made by a friend of ours that came out and visited. And most of the videos that we've ever posted, like Nicole's getting better at taking time to put reels and stuff.
Yeah, that's where it's at, dude.
I don't enjoy doing it. I feel like I'm already locked onto my phone with enough messages, tattoo inquiries, trying to help out with the Facebook and running the Instagram, which is just a lot. I just get kind of bored with staring at my phone.
Yeah.
And I was so addicted to it for so long, which I'm not addicted to my phone. It's one of those things that I really struggle to break.
Yeah.
But the more time I can take away from it, the happier I am.
Right.
Not being so heavily influenced or my mood influenced by things going on out there.
Right.
You know, it doesn't really pertain to me.
Yeah. That's good self-control you learn, bro.
I'm working on it. It's a daily practice.
Yeah. But on the other side, it is. That's, I mean, it does. You have the gift and the curse of that platform to make what you do be available to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we did have to look at it that way. I think if we'd had our truthers, I'd have rather not had any kind of social media forever, but that's not not the world we live in right now. I can't send out, mailers to random people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, you're right. Yeah, it is like ride the wave or get out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, dude, I'm gonna let you get back on the road. You got a ride ahead of you, and at least when you stop for a pee break, it'll be warm.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice out. As soon as I break the Illinois line there.
I'm telling you, I was gonna. Yesterday when it was warm, I was looking ahead and I'm like, I'm gonna grill out this weekend. I looked at our weather. It's gonna be colder even tomorrow here.
Is it really?
Yeah, man.
We're supposed to have a cool day tomorrow. I think it's going to be down in like the low 50s tomorrow.
We just got tricked for. It was really nice, and then it was warmer, and then windy as shit, and now but it's
the wind up here gets me out.
It was rude. Yeah, it was getting it yesterday. It was blow your fucking car door off the head.
Yeah, me all over the road getting up here.
Hey, brother, congratulations on just every freaking amazing step it seems like you take, man.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me out and let me be a part of this.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm going to come squeeze in and someone's mic if I come down to the Whittington Homestead.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
I can just do one or whatever.
No, I am 100%. You just came up here to do this podcast. I got nothing.
I took a chance to go see some friends of mine and have some dinner last night, and then but otherwise this was my intention for
I can't.
I appreciate you letting me come and do that. Speak my piece, and
I'm honored,
and hopefully
I learned something more.
Enlighten some folks to open up a book, here and there, and figure out what makes you unhappy in life and correct it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know, like I said, I know.
This is a rewatcher here, man.
Maybe.
I need to watch it.
I
was here.
I know that a lot of people are going to have pushback, and you'll probably get a bunch of hate mail.
No, man. If everyone doesn't know that we all are still students of life, man.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of approach every day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know it all. I'm only where I'm at today.
Right.
So,
there's a couple things I know a lot about, but mostly it's like, well, just tell me why you think that. Maybe I've been wrong.
Might be able to be reconvinced. Yeah. I'm always open to that. Maybe 10 years from now I'll look back and this will just be a phase I went through. Yeah. Who knows?
You kicked it off with a really valid thing, which was the talking about pop.
Oh.
How the brainwash of society about that. And then all of a sudden it goes, not only that, but our legit doctors are now prescribing it and they validated it. And our politicians are, it's like, wait, what?
Yep.
They changed their mind.
Exactly.
And now it's financially
how to figure it out, how to monetize on it, you know what I mean? That's all it takes.
The war on drugs is no longer official.
Yeah.
Either way. Again, man, I do appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time. I love you. And I can't wait to see what's going on. I'm going to come soon, and then I'm going to come back and see this shit after it builds up.
Yep. Bring a kayak.
Hell yeah.
And let's get out on some water and
it'll be great.
Get some rays.
All right. Hey, you guys, thank you for joining me on this one. Hey, if you didn't like any of the stuff that he said, tell your person. Don't tell me. I don't care about this shit, bro. Hey, but if you guys want to dig in and see what he's got going on, Is it, you guys, you have your own Facebook page. It's not just your personal page, right? Your Facebook
Yeah, I don't have a personal page. It's just
Whittington Homestead on Facebook, yeah. And they also have their podcast on Spotify. But yeah, everything, you'll see some of the clips that they have of the homestead that they've created in Tennessee, which is looking pretty freaking cool. Somewhere for you guys to consider stepping away to as the weather gets a little bit nicer, which it already is there. So again, thanks for joining. We'll catch you on the next one. Until then, hey, be kind to each other. Thank you guys.
All right.
My man.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
We're fully prepared. Brought to you by Buick Real Estate. Let's dive deep. It's gonna be great. So grab a seat. Don't miss the ride. Beyond Business with Nick. Let's take it in stride. Join the conversation, let's make it last. With stories and insights, we're having a blast.
Thanks for joining today's episode. Before we let you go, if you're in the market for commercial properties in Central Illinois, look no further than Buick Commercial Real Estate. With a dedicated team led by Tim Buick and Cole Babcock, they bring unparalleled expertise and a deep understanding of the local market to meet your commercial real estate needs. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or invest, Tim and Cole are committed to providing personalized service and guidance every step of the way. Their passion for helping clients navigate the complexities of commercial real estate sets them apart in the industry. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level or find that perfect commercial space, reach out to Buick Commercial Real Estate. You can find them on all social media platforms at buickrealestate.com or give them a call at 217-450-8500. And trust me, you'll be in great hands. If you're in the market for custom apparel, look no further than Oakwood Screen Printing. This apparel company specializes in all things apparel, offering high-quality designs on everything from t-shirts to hoodies, to hats to joggers, to jackets to towels, to bags to you name it. Wall art, mugs, tumbler, stickers, all that. And if you use code BB217, that's right, BB for Beyond Business 217 at checkout, you'll receive an additional 15% off online or in store. So that means ditch the custom ink link and order from OSP, no matter where you are ordering from, and use code BB217 for 15% off your order at checkout from oakwoodscreenprinting.com. If you're looking to transform your home with a fresh coat of paint or need some handiwork done, don't forget to hit up Clean Cut Painting and Handyman. Spend some of that tax money wisely and get your spot hooked up, get them holes patched up, get that deck stained up. This incredible local company specializes in interior and exterior painting and staining. They also bring a unique touch to every project, from basement remodels to floor replacement or accent walls. Clean Cut Painting and Handyman is your go-to for all home improvement needs. And their team is not just proficient, but also professional, ensuring that every job is done just right. So if you want to elevate your space, reach out to Clean Cut Painting and Handyman today, and you'll be amazed at what they can do. You can find them on all social media platforms by searching Clean Cut Painting and Handyman or by going to their website at cleancutservice.com. Thanks again for joining today's episode. Everybody be blessed, be kind to each other. We'll catch you on the next one.